Chapter 906. Ah! A crisp sound rang out. Wang Quan was instantly slapped away by Ling Xiao and slammed into a wall in the distance. His teeth were broken, and he spat out blood as he howled miserably. "What's your name? Tell me, why can't I spare the Wang family?" Ling Xiao looked at the delicate youth who spoke first and slowly said. The delicate youth raised his head and looked at Ling Xiao. He gritted his teeth and said, "Lord Ling Xiao, my name is Wu Lei. I'm from Profound Light City's Wu family. The Wang family has done all kinds of evil. They cultivate evil techniques. Not only do they drink human blood every day, but they also capture innocent women to absorb their primordial yin for cultivation. The crimes they have committed are too numerous to be recorded." As Wu Lei spoke, Ling Xiao's face became incomparably cold. It turned out that the Wang family possessed the Soaring Serpent bloodline. The Soaring Serpent bloodline was recessive. People with this bloodline were naturally bloodthirsty and needed pure yang energy to balance. But in the reincarnation world, pure yang treasures were hard to find. The Wang family had set their sights on the people under their rule. According to Wu Lei, the Wang family members would kill hundreds of people every day and absorb their blood to balance the evil yin energy in their bodies. Almost the entire Profound Light City had suffered greatly from this. Moreover, the Wang family members cultivated the Soaring Serpent scripture. They drank human blood and absorbed pure yang energy, while harming innocent women and absorbing their primordial yin energy. Over the years, the number of women who had their blood sucked dry or harmed by the Wang family added up to more than 1 million people. This was just Wu Lei's estimate. The actual number was probably even more terrifying. "Lord Ling Xiao, my sister was taken away by this old man yesterday. I hope you can save her. Even if I have to be an ox or a horse, I will repay your kindness." Wu Lei's face was full of grief and indignation. He kowtowed to Ling Xiao with all his might. His forehead was dripping with blood, but he still didn't seem to feel it. "Get up first." Ling Xiao raised his hand, and Wu Lei immediately stood up, unable to continue kowtowing. Lord Ling Xiao, this old woman watched Wu Lei grow up. He is an honest child and will never lie. The Wang family's sins are truly monstrous. I beg Lord Ling Xiao to uphold justice for us. A white-haired old lady with a walking stick walked shakily to Ling Xiao and was about to kneel down. Ling Xiao immediately helped her up and said seriously, "Don't worry, if the Wang family really did such a thing, I will definitely give everyone an explanation." The expressions of the Wang family members changed drastically. Although Wang Quan's teeth had been broken by Ling Xiao, he still crawled towards Ling Xiao with a terrified expression on his face. He stuttered, "Ling Xiao, sir, they are slandering us, adding insult to injury. The Wang family has never done such a thing." Many of the Wang family elders also tried to explain and beg for mercy. "There's no need for that. If you want to see if Wu Lei is framing you, I'll search your primordial spirit, and you'll know." Ling Xiao sneered and instantly slammed his palm towards Wang Quan's head. Hearing soul search, Wang Quan's expression instantly changed greatly. He wanted to escape, but how could he possibly escape from Ling Xiao's hands? Wang. Ling Xiao activated the wordless heavenly book and forcibly broke open Wang Quan's mind and began to search his primordial spirit. With this, Ling Xiao's face instantly turned ashen, and his killing intent blazed. In Wang Quan's mind, Ling Xiao saw Wang Quan devouring human blood every day. He saw Wang Quan harming a few teenage girls every day. He saw Wang Quan's various perverted hobbies. He saw the helplessness and moans of those little girls. All kinds of miserable situations were simply too numerous to record. "You deserve to die." Ling Xiao's eyes blazed with killing intent. He had never been as furious as he was now. He wanted to exterminate the Wang family. Relying on Wang Hong's identity as the Mystic Light Sovereign and the City Lord of Mystic Light City, the Wang family abused their power and slaughtered people for fun. This was a perverted family. They deserved to die even more than the Demon Dao sect and the murderous demons that Ling Xiao had seen. Swoosh! Swoosh! Ling Xiao flicked his finger, and instantly, more than a dozen streaks of sword qi flew through the air and directly crippled the cultivation of the Wang family members. Everyone, the people of the Wang family deserve to die 10,000 times. I have already crippled their cultivation. Now, I will hand them over to everyone in Mystic Light City to be dealt with. You can kill them or cut them up, it's not a problem. Anyone in the Wang family who participated in evil will not be able to escape this time. Ling Xiao looked at the people of Mystic Light City and said. At this moment, Ling Xiao was standing in the void. A large area of Mystic Light City had already knelt down. Hundreds of thousands of people knelt down towards Ling Xiao at the same time. The momentum was extremely spectacular. Many thanks, Lord Ling Xiao. Long live Lord Ling Xiao. Long live Lord Ling Xiao. As soon as Ling Xiao's voice fell, the entire Mystic Light City suddenly burst into thunderous cheers. Everyone revealed a look of ecstasy, and some even cried bitterly. As for Wang Quan and the others, their faces were ashen, and they were in complete despair. Ling Xiao, even if I become a ghost, I won't let you off. Ling Xiao, I will wait for you underground. It won't be long before you come to accompany me. You will come to accompany me. Wang Quan suddenly raised his head. His eyes were filled with incomparable resentment as he stared at Ling Xiao. However, Ling Xiao didn't even look at him. Soon, the people of the Wang family were taken away by the crazy people of Mystic Light City. Their fate could be imagined. Most likely, even being cut into pieces would be too easy for them. Under the leadership of the crowd, Ling Xiao went directly to the city lord's mansion, opened the dungeon of the Wang family, and rescued thousands of girls inside. Those girls didn't dare to believe it at first, but when they saw the fate of the people of the Wang family, they completely believed that they had been rescued. One by one, they cried tears of joy and hugged their loved ones. Wu Lei's sister was a little girl named Wu Ling. She was only 13 or 14 years old. She was very beautiful, but very haggard. Fortunately, she hadn't been harmed by that old bastard Wang Quan. The brother and sister were crying tears of joy, as if they had survived a disaster. When they wanted to thank Ling Xiao, they didn't know when Ling Xiao had left. After Ling Xiao searched Wang Quan's soul, he had learned the location of the Netherworld Sacred River in Mystic Light City. The Netherworld Sacred River was also in a hidden space of the Wang family. At the same time, it was also the Wang family's treasure trove, storing all kinds of treasures and resources that the Wang family had plundered over the years. Only the patriarch of the Wang family knew the specific location and how to enter that hidden space. However, this wasn't a problem for Ling Xiao. After finding the specific location, Ling Xiao quickly opened the space door and walked in. In front of him was a vast small world. This small world had mountains, rivers, lakes, flowers, plants, insects, fish, the sun, the moon, and stars. It was like a complete small world. Although it was only 1,000 miles in size, it contained the complete world laws. Chapter 907. This underworld sacred river was similar to the underworld sacred river that Ling Xiao had encountered in the Tianxiang sect. The 1,000-mile-long underworld sacred river had torrential waves and was filled with heaven and earth qi. There were also traces of the power of life and death. Other than the Yellow Spring Sacred River, there was also an ancient palace in this small world. It looked very mysterious, and it was the Wang family's treasure pavilion. The Wang family has plundered the world, so they must have a lot of treasures. However, ordinary treasures are useless to me. I hope I can get some life or death pills. Ling Zhao's eyes revealed a trace of expectation as he walked into the treasure pavilion. There were powerful restrictions protecting the treasure pavilion, but they were not a problem for Ling Xiao, and he quickly broke through them. Dazzling light filled the air, and there were many powerful weapons, elixirs and precious elixirs. The strongest weapon was only a quasi-sovereign weapon. The Black Flood Dragon Spear, the only sovereign weapon of a mystic light sovereign, had already fallen into Ling Zhao's hands. Ling Xiao didn't care about the others, and with a wave of his hand, he put them all into his longevity ring. As for the elixirs, they made Ling Zhao's eyes light up. Not only were there 5 sacred elixirs, but there was also a quasi-divine elixir. Rainbow Begonia. The rainbow begonia contained a vast amount of life essence, and when one smelled it, they would feel refreshed. I'm really lucky. I didn't expect a mystic light sovereign to have the rainbow begonia. With the rainbow begonia and the other sacred elixirs, I can refine a cauldron of longevity golden pills. Together with the Yellow Spring Sacred River, I can definitely recover my physical body. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of pleasant surprise. Finally, there were the life or death pills. The Wang family had a total of 6 million life or death pills, which was several times more than the Sky Fragrance sect. However, the Mystic Light City was the ruler of the land within 1,000,000 miles, and with the Wang family crazily plundering all kinds of treasures, it was understandable that they had so many life or death pills. As for the other items, they were all miscellaneous items. However, when Ling Xiao saw a golden bone, his eyes flashed. It was a golden skull, and it emitted a mysterious aura. It had the same aura as the reincarnation divine ability that Ling Xiao cultivated. Are these the remains of Pangu? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He could sense that the aura of this golden skull was extremely similar to that of Pangu Chu's corpse. Could it be that the Pangu clan still exists in the reincarnation world? If that's the case, I'll have to pay a visit to the Pangu clan and return Senior Pangu Chu's remains. Ling Xiao thought to himself. In the end, Ling Xiao put away everything in the treasure pavilion. First, I'll refine a cauldron of longevity golden pills. Then, I'll go into seclusion to cultivate. This time, I must make sure that my physical injuries are completely healed. Ling Xiao's eyes glinted as he made up his mind. Whoosh! Ling Xiao sat down cross-legged, and the King Heaven Devourer cauldron appeared in front of him, shining with dazzling light. True heaven-devouring flame sprang up, surrounding the Heaven Devourer cauldron and heating it. Thankfully, Ling Xiao had the King Heaven Devourer cauldron, which was a divine ability created by the secret magic of heaven devouring. It could be transformed at will, and was perfect for concocting pills. Ling Xiao was seriously injured, and his god power was running dry. If he had used any other cauldron to concoct pills, he wouldn't have been able to do so. With the King Heaven Devourer cauldron, Ling Xiao was able to solve a lot of problems. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. As the King Heaven Devourer cauldron floated in the flames, Ling Xiao's eyes grew more focused as he threw one spirit medicine after another into the cauldron, where the true Heaven Devourer cauldron sucked them into the King Heaven Devourer cauldron and turned them into the purest of quintessence. Ling Xiao performed a double-handed incantation gesture, causing the true Heaven Devourer cauldron to transform into 9 flaming true dragons, all of them incredibly lifelike and filled with draconic might. Using the 9 dragons playing with a pearl technique, Ling Xiao began concocting the Live Forever Gold pill. Ling Xiao was back to the peak of his previous life, and although his injuries limited him, concocting Paragon-level medicinal pills wasn't a difficult task. A day later, the Live Forever Gold pill was ready. As soon as the Paragon pill appeared, strange signs appeared in the sky, and dazzling lightning tribulation descended onto the Live Forever Gold pill. In the end, the Live Forever Gold pill absorbed all 9 of the tribulation lightning bolts, transforming into 9 dazzling medicinal pills that flew into Ling Xiao's hand. Each of the 9 Live Forever Gold pills was the size of a longan fruit, and shone with dazzling golden light. They were also covered with mysterious designs that contained boundless life force quintessence energy. The Live Forever Gold pill could bring the dead back to life. Even if someone was on their last breath, they could still be brought back to life. Furthermore, a single Live Forever Gold pill could extend the lifespan of a paragon by 5 60-year cycles, which was 300 years. If paragons who were nearing the end of their lifespans were to learn of this, they would probably go crazy and try to steal the Live Forever Gold pills. But in order to concoct them, Ling Xiao had used the 7-star begonia, 5 sage medicines, and over 1,000 other spirit medicines. With these Live Forever Gold pills, my fleshly body can finally be healed. Ling Xiao murmured to himself. Whoosh! Without any hesitation, Ling Xiao took out one of the Live Forever Gold pills and consumed it. Then he transformed into a beam of light that shot into the Yellow Springs Sage River. Ryuambel. The Yellow Springs Sage River surged wildly, and the King Heaven Devourer cauldron shone with dazzling light as Ling Xiao drew on the Heaven Devouring secret magic and the reincarnation divine ability to absorb the power of life and death within the river. Boundless life force quintessence flowed into Ling Xiao's body, causing his meridians to heal rapidly. At the same time, the power of the golden elixir of longevity was fully unleashed. A majestic aura of life burst out and Ling Xiao's aura began to strengthen bit by bit. His fleshly body became transparent, and his meridians became visible. Now that they were healed, they were as thick and tough as dragons, and shone with golden light. Ling Xiao's bones slowly healed, and a dragon's aura spread out, causing dragon scale-like patterns to appear on his bones. Boundless life force energy was growing in his flesh and blood, and the tiniest particles within him seemed to be capable of sundering heaven and splitting the earth. Crackle, crackle, crack. Ling Xiao's fleshly body was undergoing a mysterious transformation, becoming translucent, almost like porcelain, and pulsing with mysterious fluctuations. Ling Xiao was in a strange state of Tao enlightenment. Especially during this cultivation, Ling Xiao vaguely discovered that his understanding of the reincarnation mystic art had actually increased by leaps and bounds, almost reaching the realm of perfection. It was a consummate divine ability left behind by Pangu, and now that it was here in the reincarnation world, it was shining with light. Chapter 908. The reincarnation divine ability was created by Pangu. If one wanted to reverse the reincarnation cycle of life and death and be reborn, it possessed the power to seize the fortune of heaven and earth. Although Pangu eventually died from serious injuries, it didn't mean that the reincarnation divine ability wasn't strong enough. On the contrary, when Ling Xiao came to the reincarnation world and used the reincarnation divine ability to devour the power of life and death, his comprehension of this divine ability began to advance by leaps and bounds. The reincarnation divine ability could deprive others of their lifespan. It was extremely terrifying. For Supreme Being experts, this was simply a fatal power. Supreme Beings only had a lifespan of 10,000 years. If their lifespan was deprived by the reincarnation divine ability, their lifespan would dry up and they would directly turn into ashes. There was no room for resistance at all. However, Ling Xiao's comprehension of the reincarnation divine ability had only reached minor completion. After that, his progress was very slow. It didn't have much effect on Supreme Being experts. But as Ling Xiao's comprehension of the reincarnation divine ability gradually reached perfection, he saw the terror of this divine ability. Even Supreme Beings couldn't escape the reincarnation divine ability. Ling Xiao was in such a mysterious state of enlightenment. His body was shrouded in dazzling multicolored light, overflowing with divine light. An incomparably mysterious aura exuded from Ling Xiao's body. With the longevity golden pellet and the power of life and death in the Yellow Spring Sacred River, Ling Xiao's injuries began to heal rapidly. Profound Light City. After Ling Xiao went into seclusion, the Profound Light City could be said to be celebrating. The malignant tumor of the Wang family was eliminated. Countless members of the Wang family were torn to pieces by the angry people of the Profound Light City. The haze that had been shrouding the hearts of the people began to disperse. Countless young girls who were captured by the Wang family were released and returned to their families. They all wept with joy. Every family began to set up a longevity tablet for Ling Xiao, enshrining the war god Ling Xiao, praying that war god Ling Xiao could protect the Profound Light City and live for 10,000 years. On that day, Ling Xiao stepped on the void and broke the 9 bends Yellow Spring Grand Array. He was like a peerless war god, forever engraved in the hearts of everyone in the Profound Light City. Rumble. 3 days after Ling Xiao entered seclusion, the space above Profound Light City shattered. A black dragon-shaped warship broke through the space and arrived above Profound Light City. It covered the sky and emitted a ferocious aura. On the dragon-shaped warship, a black dragon flag fluttered in the wind. That black dragon exuded a powerful dragon might. It was so lifelike that it seemed like it would fly out at any moment. Over 1,000 figures with powerful auras stood on the dragon-shaped warship. They were all dressed in black armor and had tall statures. Their gazes were cold as they gave off a murderous aura. The leader was a middle-aged man in blood-red armor. His face was handsome, and his eyes were dignified and cold. He held a blood-red saber in his hand, and his entire body emitted an aura that could make the world tremble. Not good. Was it the Black Dragon Army? The Black Dragon Army is here. Someone cried out in alarm, and his eyes were filled with terror. The Black Dragon treasure ship and the Black Dragon flag were the symbols of the Black Dragon Army. Almost everyone in the Chujiang region knew about them. Therefore, the people in Profound Light City easily recognized them as the Black Dragon Army. The leader was a middle-aged man in blood-red armor. He had a heroic appearance and a terrifying aura. He was even stronger than a Profound Light Realm supremacy. He looked unfathomable. Why would the Black Dragon Army come to Profound Light City? I know. I heard that Profound Light Realm supremacy Wang Hong's brother-in-law is the Grand Commander of the Black Dragon Army. Could it be true? In Profound Light City, the eyes of the experts of the large families shook. They revealed a trace of fear. I'm afraid it's very likely. The Black Dragon Army has come with ill intentions. It seems like they're here for Ling Xiao. The Black Dragon Army is extremely ferocious. They're the most terrifying army under King Chujiang. What if the Black Dragon Army takes their anger out on us? If Lord Ling Xiao dies, I'm afraid we won't be able to live either. Everyone in Profound Light City discussed animatedly. Their eyes were filled with fear. Where's Ling Xiao? Get the fuck out here. The middle-aged man in blood-red armor was Wang Hong's brother-in-law, the Grand Commander of the Black Dragon Army, Grand Commander Tai Shui. A baleful aura flashed in his eyes as he shouted coldly. Rumble. Heaven and earth shook violently as the sound waves erupted like toppling mountains and overturning seas. Vast thunderbolts shook the surroundings, containing an endless domineering and majestic aura. Suddenly, the entire Profound Light City was shaken. Many people with weaker cultivations directly spurted out blood and retreated, their eyes filled with horror. Get the fuck out here. The 1,000-plus Black Dragon Army behind Grand Commander Tai Shui shouted explosively at the same time. Their voices shook the heavens, and their baleful aura surged into the sky. All of them were at the Monarch Realm, and most of them were even at the 9th level of the Monarch Realm. The baleful aura that surged into the sky showed that every single one of them was a warrior who had experienced countless battles. Their hands were probably stained with the blood of countless people. Grand Commander Tai Shui probably didn't even have to make a move, as the 1,000-plus Black Dragon Army would be able to annihilate Profound Light City. Everyone in Profound Light City was stunned. Their eyes were filled with astonishment, as if they were facing a formidable enemy. You're not going to speak? Tell me where Ling Xiao is. Grand Commander Tai Shui's gaze was cold and indifferent as he stretched out his hand and made a grabbing motion. In an instant, an extremely aged old man was dragged over from the crowd. The old man was at the Quasi-Exalt realm, but he was still like an ant before Grand Commander Tai Shui. The old man gritted his teeth and said, I don't know. You don't know? Then you can die. Grand Commander Tai Shui pointed a finger forward, and the old man's body instantly exploded into a mist of blood while his soul was completely obliterated. Do all of you know where Ling Xiao is? Grand Commander Tai Shui stretched out his hand and made another grabbing motion, and over a dozen Monarch Realm experts were dragged over. My lord, we really don't know. Lord Ling Xiao annihilated the Wang clan, rescued those young women captured by the Wang clan, and then vanished. My lord, spare us. Those experts spoke with terrified expressions on their faces. Lord Ling Xiao, looks like all of you have a good impression of him. He deserves death. Killing intent flashed through Grand Commander Tai Shui's eyes, and then he suddenly slapped his palm down. In an instant, all those experts were slapped into a mist of blood. No one had expected that Grand Commander Tai Shui would actually be so insane as to kill so brazenly. Swoosh. Grand Commander Tai Shui captured over 100 more experts. Some of them were instantly unable to restrain themselves, and they directly knelt before Grand Commander Tai Shui. My lord, we really don't know where Ling Xiao is. But Ling Xiao said that he wants the Wang clan's life and death pill in Yellow Springs River, so it's very likely that he's in the Wang clan's treasury. However, we can't enter it at all, so we don't know if he's in there. My lord, spare us. The Wang clan's treasury? Very good. But why didn't all of you say so earlier? It seems to me that all of you are intentionally trying to protect Ling Xiao. You deserve death as well. Chapter 909. Ling Xiao, since you dared to kill Wang Hong, you should be prepared to die. It's been a long time since someone made me so excited. As a reward, I won't let you die so easily. Commander Tai Shui's eyes revealed a trace of bloodlust as he sneered. Whoosh. The Black Dragon treasure ship turned into a stream of light, and flew toward the Wang family's residence in Profound Light City. Just as Commander Tai Shui was killing people in Profound Light City, a light flashed on a mountain peak outside Profound Light City, and two figures appeared. One of them was a valiant woman in black armor. She was tall and had skin as white as jade. Her figure was very hot. Her waist was small and slender, and her legs were long and straight. She exuded an unfathomable aura. She was very beautiful, and she had a pair of big black eyes. Her pupils were blue, and they were as bright as gems, flowing with a mysterious light. Beside her stood a young girl in black armor. She looked very delicate, and her eyes were bright and cunning. Princess, isn't Commander Tai Shui too cruel? Those innocent people died in his hands. I think you should punish him severely, Princess. The delicate young girl pouted, and said with righteous indignation, Xiao Yu, I'm also a commander of the Black Dragon Army like him. How can I punish him? This time, he didn't hesitate to sneak out with thousands of Black Dragon Army soldiers while he was on a mission. He wants to avenge his private grudge. I'm curious about that kid called Ling Xiao. He can actually kill Master Xian Light and Master Tian Xiang. The princess that Xiao Yu mentioned was the valiant woman. She smiled faintly, and a trace of curiosity appeared in her eyes. That's right. That kid called Ling Xiao is very bold. He dared to kill the city lord of Chujiang region. Even if Commander Tai Shui doesn't come, there will be people from the judicial department coming to capture him. Along the way, I heard that the kid has the bloodline of the Dragon Clan. Are you interested in him? Xiao Yu rolled her eyes and said with a smile, I'm interested. After all, it's been many years since a pure dragon clan appeared in the reincarnation world. However, it also depends on his luck. If he can survive the hands of the Iron Blood, then he will have the qualifications to be recruited by me. Otherwise, forget it. The princess smiled faintly. Princess, let's go and take a look. I heard that the kid called Ling Xiao is very young and very handsome. If he can defeat the Iron Blood commander, why don't you take him as your son-in-law? Xiao Yu giggled. You talk too much. The princess glared at her, but shook her head and sighed. Tai Shuehe is already a 7th-level supreme martial artist. Among all the commanders, he can be ranked in the top 10. Even I can't say for sure that I can beat him. It's already good enough that Ling Xiao can keep his life. Let's go and take a look. The figures of the two flashed, and silently followed behind. They did not reveal any fluctuations, as if they did not exist at all. Commander Tai Shui did not know where the treasury of the Wang family was, but with his powerful cultivation, he naturally discovered the hidden space very quickly when he spread out his soul. Moreover, he sensed an unfamiliar presence. You're really audacious. How dare you cultivate in the treasury of the Wang family? I want to see who you are. Commander Tai Shui's eyes revealed a cold glint. Rumble. He threw out a punch, and the terrifying fist print contained a destructive force. It broke the void in front of him, and a void passage appeared. Ling Xiao, get out here. Commander Tai Shui stretched out a hand and grabbed at Ling Xiao, who was in the small world. His eyes were filled with cold killing intent. Although Ling Xiao could kill Supreme Xianguang and Supreme Tian Xiang, he was still nothing in the eyes of Commander Tai Shui. Not to mention, it was rumored that Ling Xiao was not a supreme martial artist. He just had a freakish physical body and strong combat strength. Rumble. Divine light rolled, and heaven and earth trembled. Commander Tai Shui's palm print covered the sky, as if it was going to destroy this small world. It contained a power that could destroy everything. However, a golden light suddenly exploded. Rumble. It was a terrifying fist print that contained the roar of a dragon. It was unparalleled, and it instantly shattered Commander Tai Shui's palm print. Moreover, it did not slow down, and it fiercely collided with Commander Tai Shui's palm print. Crack. The void in all directions shattered, and the void turbulence surged. Heaven and earth trembled, and a golden storm of divine light swept out. It was as if the world was going to be destroyed. Commander Tai Shui's expression changed. He felt an unparalleled force coming at him. His body trembled, and he flew back dozens of feet before he could stabilize himself in the void. How is this possible? Commander Tai Shui's eyes were filled with disbelief. He felt as if he had been sent flying by a primordial ferocious beast. That fist print was unparalleled, and it made him tremble in fear. "Are you calling me?" An indifferent voice sounded. Rumble. Amidst the endless storm of divine light, a figure slowly walked out. He was surrounded by golden clouds and divine light, and exuded an aura that could make heaven and earth tremble. Ling Xiao was dressed in white and had white hair. His eyes were calm as he stood in the void with his hands clasped behind his back. He did not seem to have any cultivation fluctuations, but the terrifying storm of destruction around him retreated. It could not even get within 10 feet of him. What? The people of Profound Light City were also stunned. Their fear of the Black Dragon Army was deep-rooted. In their hearts, the Black Dragon Army was synonymous with invincibility, and the commander of the Black Dragon Army was an invincible expert. Many people were worried about Ling Xiao, afraid that he would die in the hands of Commander Tai Shui. However, they did not expect that Ling Xiao would be able to force Commander Tai Shui back with a single punch. "Princess, he is Ling Xiao? He is so handsome, but how can he be so strong?" Xiao Yu's mouth was wide open as she looked at Ling Xiao in shock. The valiant princess also showed a trace of surprise in her eyes. She looked deeply at Ling Xiao and said, "The outcome is still unknown. Commander Tai Shui only struck casually. Whether Ling Xiao can survive or not depends on his combat strength." However, she did not know why, but a trace of anticipation grew in her heart. Perhaps Ling Xiao really had the strength to defeat Commander Tai Shui? "You are Ling Xiao, the one who killed my brother Wang Hong?" Commander Tai Shui's eyes were filled with murderous intent as he stared at Ling Xiao. "Yes, it is me. So, are you going to avenge him?" Ling Xiao said indifferently. There seemed to be golden lightning flashing across the sky in his eyes. It was so sharp that no one dared to look at him directly. After a few days of cultivation, Ling Xiao's physical body had finally healed completely after absorbing an endless amount of life and death energy, and refining 6 golden longevity pills. Chapter 9-10. It's really you. Brat, don't think that you can be arrogant just because you have some power. You must know that there are always people stronger than you. There are too many people in this world who are stronger than you. Arrogant people don't live long. You killed Wang Hong, so you have to pay with your life. Commander Tai Shui stared at Ling Xiao and said coldly, "There are indeed many people in this world who are stronger than me, but that doesn't include you. Cultivation of the 7th level Supreme Realm? You're barely passable, but you're still too weak. If you were a titled martial artist, I might not be able to kill you. But you're just a 7th level Supreme Realm martial artist. How dare you be so presumptuous in front of me?" Ling Xiao's eyes were sharp as he stared at Commander Tai Shui. Ling Xiao's physical body had completely recovered. With his true dragon body alone, he could defeat all Supreme Realm martial artists. A mere 7th level Supreme Realm martial artist was indeed nothing in his eyes. Arrogant. Commander Tai Shui's eyes were dark as he exuded a powerful aura. "Little bastard, since you don't know what's good for you, I'll fulfill your wish." Rumble. Commander Tai Shui's body was covered in a layer of blood-red murderous aura. He exuded a vast wave of energy as if a tiger was roaring. A blood-red tiger appeared behind him and stared at Ling Xiao. Swoosh. He raised the saber in his hand, and an unparalleled power erupted. In an instant, it merged with the fierce tiger behind him and slashed down at Ling Xiao. It was as if an immemorial divine tiger was charging at Ling Xiao. The murderous aura was overwhelming and contained a force that could destroy everything. Although Commander Tai Shui said that Ling Xiao didn't know what was good for him, he used his full strength. That was because Ling Xiao's punch had already made him feel that it was extremely troublesome. He had to kill Ling Xiao with lightning speed. Fool! Ling Xiao's eyes flashed coldly as he punched the air. Rumble. Ling Xiao's body was surrounded by golden light as a vast amount of blood energy shot into the sky. It was as if he had turned into an immemorial divine beast in an instant. The huge fist print became 10,000 feet large and came crashing down like a divine mountain. Roar. A powerful dragon's roar filled the air. Streaks of golden divine light surrounded Ling Xiao's body, as if they had transformed into a golden dragon. The dragon's scales were resplendent and lifelike, making him look mysterious and majestic. This punch contained the ultimate strength of the soaring heaven true dragon's body. He did not even use the 10,000 dragons god-slaying art. Ling Xiao wanted to see where the limits of his current physical body were. Crack! The golden fist print was incomparably unstoppable. It came directly from the sky and imprinted on the blood-colored tiger's blade light. Suddenly, the world trembled. The blood-red tiger trembled violently before exploding with a loud bang. Clang! The light that filled the sky was completely swept away. The golden fist print did not lose its momentum, and slammed into the supreme battle saber in Commander Tai Shue's hand. Immediately, sparks flew in all directions, and the supreme battle saber trembled violently. Commander Tai Shue felt an unparalleled force coming at him. It was as if a supreme star had crashed into him. His expression changed drastically, and his arms exploded into a bloody mist. Bang! Commander Tai Shue flew back a few hundred feet. Blood spurted from his mouth, and his aura instantly became extremely weak. He slammed into the ground in the distance, creating a huge crater. Hiss! Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. Their hearts were filled with endless shock. If Ling Xiao's punch had pushed Commander Tai Shue back, it might have been because Commander Tai Shue had not used his full strength. However, at this moment, the two of them had collided head-on. Commander Tai Shue had even taken out his supreme battle saber, but he was still sent flying by Ling Xiao's punch. At this moment, Ling Xiao, who originally looked very delicate, was gushing with golden light and surrounded by golden dragons. His white hair danced in the wind, his expression was indifferent, and his eyes were dazzling. He was like an invincible, peerless god of war. No one dared to look at him directly. So, Lord Ling Xiao actually has such terrifying combat strength. Even Commander Tai Shue is no match for Lord Ling Xiao. Our Profound Light City is saved. Many people in Profound Light City were pleasantly surprised and cheered from the bottom of their hearts. Previously, Commander Tai Shue had killed the people of Profound Light City in front of so many people. Although the people were angry but did not dare to say anything, they were naturally biased towards Ling Xiao. Princess, could it be that this fellow is a humanoid true dragon? He defeated Commander Tai Shue with a single punch with just his physical strength. How can he be so strong? Xiaoya was also dumbfounded. She could not believe everything that had happened in front of her. It's really strange. In the reincarnation world, Supreme Being experts are the overlords of a region. They are famous, but I have never heard of Ling Xiao's name. It seems that this guy has secrets. The princess looked at Ling Xiao, her eyes full of curiosity. Bang! The ground shook and exploded. Commander Tai Shue rushed out from the ground. His eyes were full of shock and anger. He had come here to avenge Wang Hong. Originally, he thought that he could kill Ling Xiao in an instant. However, he did not expect this kid to be so monstrous. He did not seem to have any cultivation fluctuations, but his physical body was extremely terrifying. How strong was Ling Xiao's physical body to be able to withstand a Supreme Being weapon with his bare hands? Ling Xiao, I admit that you are very strong. However, there are several hundred utmost exalted experts in my Chujiang region, and there are even 1,000,000 Black Dragon Army soldiers. Moreover, King Chujiang is even an expert of the Divine Spirit realm. Could it be that you think you can contend against the entire Chujiang region by yourself? You killed Wang Hong and Supreme Being Tianxiang. You have already caused a great disaster. Why don't you surrender and follow me back to Chujiang Royal City to accept your punishment? Perhaps you can save your life. Otherwise, when the millions of Black Dragon Army arrive, you will be turned into dust in an instant. Commander Tai Shue said coldly. He already had the intention to retreat. The punch just now showed him that perhaps he was not Ling Xiao's match. If he continued to stay, he would only be humiliating himself. Therefore, he began to threaten Ling Xiao. The Black Dragon Army was famous in the world. No sect or family dared to go against the Black Dragon Army. It was not as if the Black Dragon Army had not killed a titled Supreme Being. He wanted to use King Chujiang and the Black Dragon Army to scare Ling Xiao. Unfortunately, Ling Xiao was not from the reincarnation world. Moreover, he had underestimated Ling Xiao's true strength. Once Ling Xiao completely recovered his cultivation, not to mention the Black Dragon Army, even if King Chujiang came personally, he would not be able to do anything to Ling Xiao. Using the Black Dragon Army and King Chujiang to threaten me? Unfortunately, I can be persuaded by reason but not cowed by force. If you kneel down and beg for mercy, perhaps I can consider sparing your life. Chapter 9:11. Arrogant. You're too arrogant. Ling Xiao, Wang Hong is the city lord of Profound Light City personally conferred by King Chujiang. You're in big trouble for killing him. Since you don't know what's good for you, just wait for the Black Dragon Army to arrive and kill you. Commander Taishui sneered, turned around, and jumped onto the dragon-shaped warship, intending to leave with his tail between his legs. Princess, why is Taishui so cowardly? He lost his will to fight after being defeated by Ling Xiao with one punch? Isn't that too embarrassing? Xiaoya said in disbelief. He's not cowardly, he's smart. The princess's eyes lit up as she said slowly. Taishui is a very cunning person. He is one of my elder brother's most capable subordinates. He must have realized that he is no match for Ling Xiao, so he wanted to leave. Otherwise, he'll just be humiliating himself if he continues to stay. So boring. Originally, I thought that I would be able to watch an exciting battle. Xiaoya pouted. Stop. A calm and indifferent voice sounded. Commander Taishui's body stiffened. He turned around with a cold expression, and found that the one who spoke was Ling Xiao. Did I say you can leave? Ling Xiao looked at Commander Taishui indifferently and said. Commander Taishui's face instantly turned ashen. He said coldly, Ling Xiao, do you want to fight to the death? Even if you're stronger than me, if I'm determined to die with you, you won't get any benefits. I'm used to killing people who want to kill me. Since you want to kill me, I naturally can't let you leave. Moreover, the fish may die, but the net may not break. Do you think you're worthy of dying with me? Ling Xiao said indifferently. His eyes were still calm, but his words were filled with overflowing arrogance and contempt. Everyone was stunned. Ling Xiao actually wanted to kill the Iron Blood Great Commander? Let's not talk about whether Ling Xiao could kill Commander Taishui. Even if he could, he would offend the Black Dragon Army and King Chujiang. How could Ling Xiao resist the arrival of the Black Dragon Army's experts? Ha ha ha. Good. Very good. Ling Xiao, do you really think I'm afraid of you? Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Commander Taishui was so angry that he laughed. A cold killing intent appeared in his eyes. Rumble. Blood-colored murderous aura condensed around him as he stood in the air. His gaze was incomparably ferocious as he suddenly shouted, Brothers, form the White Tiger battle formation, and follow me to slaughter this little bastard. Yes. On the Black Dragon warship, over 1,000 Black Dragon Army soldiers roared in unison. Boom. Thousands of Black Dragon Army soldiers came from the sky and surrounded Ling Xiao. They formed a powerful and mysterious battle formation, like a giant tiger. An incomparably terrifying aura condensed, and emitted an aura that caused the world to tremble. Commander Taishui stood in the air, overseeing the center and controlling everything. He was like the head of a tiger, instantly giving the battle matrix a spirit. White Tiger battle formation. Princess, I didn't expect Taishui to be so prepared. With him as the center and thousands of Black Dragon Army soldiers, he can unleash the power of a peak level 9 supreme. I'm afraid Ling Xiao will suffer this time. Xiaoya's eyes were filled with surprise. Let's wait and see. Ling Xiao is not simple either. The princess said, her interest in Ling Xiao growing stronger. The power of the battle matrix? Now that's interesting. However, he still can't withstand a single blow. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He felt as if the air around him had condensed and emitted a powerful energy fluctuation. Kill. Commander Taishui roared and suddenly pounced on Ling Xiao. Roar. The tiger's roar shook the sky, causing the void to tremble. Waves of powerful energy merged into Commander Taishui's body, causing his cultivation to skyrocket in an instant. He held the battle saber in his hand and slashed at Ling Xiao with unstoppable force. In the void, it was as if a white tiger was pouncing on Ling Xiao with a murderous aura. The white tiger was one of the 4 sacred beasts. It contained the ultimate killing power, and had unparalleled offensive power. The White Tiger battle formation formed by thousands of Black Dragon Army soldiers and Commander Taishui was extremely terrifying. I've said it before. Even if I have the power of the battle matrix, you won't be able to withstand a single blow. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and he instantly struck out with his palm. Roar! Vast dragon power filled the air, and Ling Xiao's body shone brightly. He activated the 10,000 Dragons God-slaying skill with his true dragon body. Suddenly, a 7-colored divine dragon flew across the sky, containing terrifying power. The dragon tribe's supreme superpower, the 10,000 Dragons God-slaying skill? He really is from the dragon tribe. The princess in the distance trembled, and her eyes were filled with shock and surprise. Rumble! In the void, it was as if the 7-colored divine dragon's radiance was the only thing left. The vast palm print crushed the sky and covered the sun, instantly breaking the white tiger apart. The 7-colored divine dragon swept over, its terrifying divine power exploding with a loud bang. Puff! 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 The warriors of the Black Dragon army spat out mouthfuls of blood at the same time. Their eyes were filled with disbelief, and their auras instantly became weak. Commander Tai Shui was in an even more miserable state. He was directly smashed down from the sky by Ling Xiao's palm, crashing heavily onto the ground. Bang! A huge palm print appeared on the ground, and Commander Tai Shui's blood-red armor was shattered. His flesh was badly mangled, and he coughed out blood continuously. His eyes were filled with terror. Commander Tai Shui was completely injured by a single palm strike. He had never imagined that the power of the White Tiger battle matrix would be unable to do anything to Ling Xiao. Who exactly was Ling Xiao? How could he have such terrifying power? Ling Xiao stepped forward and instantly moved thousands of feet. He stood in front of Commander Tai Shui, and his eyes were cold. Now, do you have anything else to say? Commander Tai Shui struggled to sit up. He looked at Ling Xiao with hatred and said, Ling Xiao, if you dare to kill me, the Black Dragon army won't let you go. King Chujiang won't let you go either. A boring threat, but you still have to die. Ling Xiao said indifferently, and a cold killing intent gathered. Hold on. At this moment, a sigh was heard. In the distance, a light flashed in the void, and a lady in black armor walked over. She looked valiant and beautiful, and her entire body exuded an unfathomable aura. Behind her was a girl dressed as a man. It was Xiaoye and the princess. Princess Qianqian? Princess Qianqian, save me. This little bastard is too arrogant. He dares to challenge the dignity of the Black Dragon army. He doesn't respect King Chujiang at all. You must kill him. Commander Tai Shui's face was filled with despair, and he thought that he was going to die this time. However, when he heard the voice, his body trembled, and he was instantly overjoyed. That was because the lady in black armor was King Chujiang's most beloved daughter, Chu Qianqian, Princess Qianqian. Chapter 9:12. Noisy. A cold light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. He immediately slapped Commander Tai Shui's face and sent him flying. Tai Shui's eyes were filled with hatred, but he did not dare to say another word. Ling Xiao looked at Chu Qianqian and said, Who are you? Why are you stopping me? Greetings, Brother Ling. I'm Chu Qianqian, the daughter of King Chujiang. Tai Shui is the commander of the Black Dragon army that was personally conferred by my father. Although he has offended Brother Ling, he doesn't deserve to die. Brother Ling, please give me some face and spare his life. Chu Qianqian smiled at Ling Xiao and said generously. Everyone's eyes widened in shock. King Chujiang's daughter, Princess Qianqian, was the most beloved daughter of King Chujiang. She was very famous in the entire Chujiang region. Chu Qianqian was not only beautiful, but also talented in cultivation. Legends said that she had the bloodline of the Torch Dragon, and her strength was terrifying. The Ancestral Dragon and the Torch Dragon were ancient divine beasts that were born naturally. One was the Yang Dragon while the other was the Yin Dragon. They were born together. Legend said that the Torch Dragon guarded the 9 underworlds door. When it opened its eyes, the world would be eternally bright. When it closed its eyes, the world would be plunged into eternal darkness. Therefore, Chu Qianqian was a 3rd-level supreme martial artist before the age of 50. Princess Qianqian, I don't think we are close. Why should I give you face? Moreover, Commander Tai Shui wanted to kill me, but he was not as skilled as I was. He deserved to die at my hands. If there's nothing else, Please leave. Ling Xiao said calmly. Chu Qianqian was stunned. She did not expect Ling Xiao to not give her face. She gritted her teeth as she looked at Ling Xiao. However, she could not let Tai Shui die in Ling Xiao's hands. Ling Xiao, even if you don't give me face, I still hope that you can spare his life. After all, he is the commander of the Black Dragon Army. The 3 generals of the Black Dragon Army are all titled Supreme Warriors. Their strength is unparalleled. If they know that you killed Tai Shui, they will definitely not let you off. At that time, your life will be in danger. So I hope you won't let your emotions affect your decisions. Although Chu Qianqian knew that Ling Xiao was strong, she felt that Ling Xiao's combat strength was only at the 9th level of the Venerable Realm, because he had the advantage of the true dragon bloodline. However, a titled Supreme Being was much stronger than a 9th level Supreme Being. She naturally didn't think that Ling Xiao would be a match for a titled Supreme Being. If people don't offend me, I won't offend them. If people offend me, I'll kill them. Many thanks for Princess Qianqian's good intentions. I appreciate it. Ling Xiao smiled faintly, a sharp glint in his eyes. What Chu Qianqian did not know was that Ling Xiao had killed a half-step divine spirit before. Why would he be afraid of a few titled supremes? However, Ling Xiao did not explain himself. Even if he did, Chu Qianqian would not believe him. Brother Ling, you're too stubborn. I'm afraid you'll suffer in the future. Chu Qianqian smiled bitterly as she tried her best. Thank you, but I've made up my mind, Ling Xiao said faintly. A sharp glint flashed in his eyes as he sent a palm blade toward Tai Shui. It exuded a terrifying aura and destructive power. Ling Xiao, I won't let you go even if I become a ghost. The 3 great generals and King Chujiang will avenge me. I'll wait for you. Tai Shui was already severely injured by Ling Xiao. There was no way he could dodge the terrifying palm blade. However, his eyes were filled with resentment as he roared at Ling Xiao. Boom. However, before he could finish his sentence, a sky full of saber rays suddenly fell and slashed him into a mist of blood. Even his primordial spirit was destroyed by Ling Xiao's saber. Commander. Many of the Black Dragon Army's soldiers were filled with grief and indignation as they looked at Ling Xiao with hatred. Everyone in the Profound Light City was also stunned. They did not expect that Ling Xiao would not give face to Chu Qianqian when she personally pleaded for mercy and killed the Iron Blood Great Commander. Many people could not help but praise him for his boldness. Brother Ling, you're in big trouble. Chu Qianqian sighed softly. She did not expect Ling Xiao to be so decisive. He did not listen to her advice and still wanted to kill Tai Shui. Since I've done it, I'll bear the consequences. I'll just deal with whatever comes my way. Ling Xiao smiled faintly as a sharp glint flashed in his eyes. You're too arrogant. The princess is being considerate for you, but you treat her kindness as malice. Do you think you can defeat a titled supreme being or a deity? Xiao Yu grumbled as she looked at Ling Xiao unhappily. How do you know that I can't? Ling Xiao said faintly. His expression was incomparably calm. His body exuded a strong confidence as if the world was in his hands. Chu Qianqian was slightly stunned. The aura that Ling Xiao exuded was very similar to her father's. It was an aura of extreme confidence in one's own strength. It was the aura of someone who controlled the world and was invincible. Who was this Ling Xiao? After killing Tai Shui, Ling Xiao unceremoniously kept the small world in Tai Shui's body. There might be many life and death pills inside that could be used to heal Ling Xiao. After doing all this, Ling Xiao turned around and left Profound Light City. Chu Qianqian looked at Ling Xiao's back and suddenly made a decision. She gritted her teeth and chased after him. Princess, what are you doing? Wait for me. Xiaoya saw Chu Qianqian leaving and hurriedly chased after her. Outside Profound Light City, on a mountain peak, Ling Xiao looked at Chu Qianqian who was chasing after him and frowned slightly. Princess Qianqian, is there anything else? I want to ask you to do something for me. Chu Qianqian looked at Ling Xiao seriously as if she had made a great decision. What is it? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he asked faintly. Help me go to a secret realm and get something. You can ask for anything. Chu Qianqian said. Ling Xiao did not agree immediately. Instead, he pondered for a moment and asked, what secret realm? What thing? Tell me clearly. It's like this. A month later, at the border between Chujiang region and Luanzhuan region, a 9-in secret realm will open. The 9-in secret realm is the small world of Supreme 9-in from hundreds of thousands of years ago. It is said that he obtained a supreme treasure that allowed him to break through the peak of the human Tao and advance to the divine spirit realm. When Supreme 9-in ascended to the divine spirit realm, he ascended the heavenly path and stepped into the divine realm. Moreover, he left behind that supreme treasure. I hope that you can come with me to the 9-in hidden realm and help me snatch that supreme treasure. Chu Qianqian looked at Ling Xiao with anticipation. What supreme treasure? Ling Xiao asked. The torch dragon heavenly pearl. It is said that there is a high possibility that it contains the complete torch dragon blood essence. Chu Qianqian said slowly. Her eyes were filled with excitement. Chapter 913. Torch dragon blood essence? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed and he was shocked. The immemorial torch dragon was the same as the immemorial ancestor dragon. They were once the supreme overlords of the heavens and earth. They were unparalleled and invincible. They were ancient saints and chaotic divine beasts. One was yin and the other was yang, mysterious and powerful. The secret skill of the ancestor dragon that Ling Xiao obtained from the wordless heavenly book should be the supreme technique of the immemorial ancestor dragon. Ling Xiao was already invincible when he condensed the true dragon body. If he could condense the divine dragon body, wouldn't he be able to kill a true god easily? How terrifying would the ancestral dragon body that was even more powerful than the divine dragon body be? The torch dragon and the ancestor dragon were at the same level. The torch dragon blood essence was probably a supreme treasure even in the divine world. Why would it appear in the reincarnation world? Ling Xiao had many doubts in his heart. Regardless, the torch dragon blood essence was definitely an earth-shattering treasure. However, Ling Xiao still looked at Chu Qianqian and asked, Torch dragon blood essence? Why do you need my help for such a treasure? If you ask King Chujiang, he should be able to get it for you easily, right? Chu Qianqian said helplessly, Father won't help me. Moreover, my elder brother is determined to get the torch dragon blood essence. I heard that he has invited a very powerful person to help him. I have no chance of winning at all. Other than that, I'm afraid that the other kings have also received the news. When the time comes, there will be a fierce battle. Moreover, the 9-in secret realm is very mysterious. Deities can't enter it. Moreover, there is a forbidden realm in the 9-in secret realm. One can only use the strength of their physical body. Divine power and primordial spirit cannot be used. Your physical body is extremely terrifying. I'm afraid that you can compete with a 9th-level Supreme Realm expert. If you can enter the 9-in secret realm, you will definitely be able to help me get the torch dragon blood essence. Chu Qianqian looked at Ling Xiao expectantly after she finished speaking. Ling Xiao did not answer her immediately. Instead, his eyes flashed as he looked at Chu Qianqian and said, I feel that there is a trace of the Dark Dragon clan's bloodline in your body. Could it be that you possess the Dark Dragon's bloodline? That's right. My Dark Dragon bloodline is inherited from my mother. The Darkness Dragon is a descendant of the Torch Dragon. Unfortunately, my bloodline isn't pure enough. If I could obtain the Torch Dragon's blood essence, I would definitely be able to evolve into a true Darkness Dragon bloodline. Ling Xiao, the Torch Dragon Heavenly Pearl is a powerful divine artifact. As long as you can help me obtain a drop of Torch Dragon blood essence, I can give you the Torch Dragon Heavenly Pearl. Chu Qianqian directly admitted to it. At the same time, she threw out an unimaginable temptation. Ling Xiao's eyes lit up. The Dark Dragon was a divine beast of the same level as the Divine Dragon. It was even stronger than the true dragon's bloodline. He did not expect Chu Qianqian to possess the Dark Dragon's bloodline. Ling Xiao pondered for a moment and nodded in agreement. I can enter the 9-in secret realm with you and help you fight for the illuminating dragon Heavenly Pearl. But I have 2 conditions. Really? As long as I can do it, I will do it. Chu Qianqian's eyes lit up as she said. Firstly, after obtaining the illuminating dragon Heavenly Pearl, if there is only 1 drop of illuminating dragon blood essence, it will belong to you. If there is more than 1 drop, the rest will belong to me. Ling Xiao glanced at Chu Qianqian and said. Chu Qianqian frowned. She felt that Ling Xiao was a little too greedy. However, according to the information she received, there was a high possibility that there was only one drop of illuminating dragon blood essence. Thinking of this, she nodded her head. All right, I agree. What's the second condition? Ling Xiao smiled faintly and said. The second condition is that I want to cultivate in the Yellow Spring Sacred River controlled by King Chujiang. Cultivate in the Yellow Spring Sacred River? All right. I can agree to it. Chu Qianqian agreed without hesitation. The second condition was too simple for her. Experts of the Heilong Army's level were all qualified to cultivate in the Yellow Spring Sacred River. With her status as a princess, bringing 1 or 2 people to cultivate in the Yellow Spring Sacred River was not a big deal. If that's the case, I look forward to working with you. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Among the 2 conditions, Ling Xiao valued the second one the most. Cultivating in the Yellow Spring Sacred River was the second king of the second palace. After all, the branch of the Yellow Spring Sacred River controlled by King Chujiang was extremely powerful. As long as Ling Xiao could cultivate in the Yellow Spring Sacred River, his injuries would definitely recover rapidly. On the contrary, it was fine if Chu Qianqian did not agree to the first condition. Since Ling Xiao knew about the Ninein secret realm, he could enter it himself to search for the illuminating dragon Heavenly Pearl. I look forward to working with you. Chu Qianqian smiled bitterly. Initially, she wanted to recruit Ling Xiao. However, after meeting Ling Xiao, she knew that he was an expert who had great confidence in his own strength. He was firm in his beliefs and was decisive. He would not be willing to submit to others. Not to mention Chu Qianqian, even King Chujiang might not be able to subdue Ling Xiao. Then let's go now. We are tens of millions of miles away from the Ninein secret realm. Although it will open in a month, the time is uncertain, Chu Qianqian said to Ling Xiao. All right. However, before that, I have to make a trip back to Xianpin tribe. There are some things that I have to arrange. Ling Xiao said faintly. Xianpin tribe? All right, I'll go with you. Chu Qianqian nodded her head. She was curious. It was said that Ling Xiao had killed Xianguang Supreme and Tianxiang Supreme for the sake of Xianpin tribe. She wanted to see what was so special about Xianpin tribe. Xiaoyu, return to Chujiang Royal City first. You don't have to follow me to the Ninein secret realm. I will return to Royal City after this matter is over. Chu Qianqian turned around and glanced at Xiaoyu. Yes. Xiaoyu nodded her head. She looked at Ling Xiao curiously before she turned around and left. Ling Xiao could see that Chu Qianqian's maid was already a half-step honorable. She would not be in any danger even if she returned alone. Swoosh. Ling Xiao and Chu Qianqian headed toward Xianpin tribe together. There were hundreds of thousands of miles between Xianpin tribe and Xianlight City. Other than the vast plains, there was also an ancient desolate mountain range. There was a powerful overlord of the demonic beasts in the desolate mountain range. It was a dark demonic bear with terrifying strength. It was already at the level of a demon venerable. However, it wasn't very smart. It was still entrenched in the desolate mountain range, bullying the demonic beasts and acting like a tyrant. Even Xianguang Supreme and Tianxiang Supreme did not dare to provoke the dark demon bear. They turned a blind eye to it. However, this time the dark demon bear was completely unlucky. Chapter 9:14. You'll be called Black Bear from now on, got it? Ling Xiao looked at the dark demon bear and said with a smile that wasn't a smile. The dark demon bear turned into a simple and honest man, but his face was bruised and his body was covered in wounds. When he heard Ling Xiao's words, he forced a smile and said, "Thank you, master. Thank you, master. I'm Black Bear." Chu Qianqian rolled her eyes speechlessly and said, "This Black Bear is only at the first level of the sovereign realm. He's just an unorthodox demon cultivator. If it wasn't for his powerful bloodline, he wouldn't be able to become a sovereign even if he cultivated for another 1,000 years. Why did you catch him?" "I have my uses," Ling Xiao said with a smile. After catching the Black Bear, Ling Xiao didn't stop. A day later, he saw the Xianpin tribe in the distance. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he saw that the Xianpin tribe was surrounded by a group of people with powerful auras. They were attacking fiercely. Ling Xiao recognized the leader at a glance. It was the acting sect master of the Sky Fragrance sect, Yang Kai, and the people of the 9 tribes. You're really courting death. Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with killing intent as he flew across the sky. At this moment, the Xianpin tribe was in imminent danger. The protective formation had been broken, and the Xianpin tribe had suffered heavy casualties. Only the high priest and Lu Zhongtian were still holding on with a group of experts. Lu Zhongtian, high priest, I advise you to surrender. As long as you hand over Lu Shui, this sect master will spare your lives. Otherwise, the Xianpin tribe will be completely wiped out today. Yang Kai looked at Lu Zhongtian and the others in front of him and sneered. Give up, Shui, or will never be handed over to you. Yang Kai, how dare you attack my Xianpin tribe? When Lord Ling Xiao returns, you'll all die. Lu Zhongtian roared. His robe was covered in blood, and there were a few wounds on his body, but he was still fighting with all his might. Ling Xiao. Ha ha ha, he killed a mystic light sovereign. The brother-in-law of a mystic light sovereign, the Iron Blood Great Commander of the Black Dragon Army, has already led his army to Mystic Light City. Ling Xiao has already died without a burial ground. Do you still expect him to save you? No one can save you today. Kill. Yang Kai sneered. Yang Kai had learned that Great Commander Tai Shui had come to Profound Light City, and believed that Ling Xiao was dead for sure, so he had contacted the 9 tribes to besiege the Profound Pine tribe. This time, not only did Yang Kai want to snatch away the Xinyuan holy tree, but he also wanted to take away Lu Shui. When he thought of Lu Shui's profound aqua physique, his heart burned with passion. As long as he could obtain Lu Shui, he would be able to rely on her profound aqua physique to overcome the 9 Supremes' tribulation and become a supreme being. At that time, he would be the only overlord within a radius of 1,000,000 kilometers. Coupled with his friendship with Commander Tai Shui, it would not be impossible for him to become the city lord of Profound Light City. Big brother Ling Xiao, are you really dead? I don't believe it, I don't believe it. You definitely won't die. Lu Shui's face was incomparably pale. Her eyes were filled with stubbornness, making people feel extremely sorry for her. Yang Kai's words were like the last straw that broke the camel's back, making the entire Xianpin tribe fall into despair. Really? At this moment, an indifferent and clear voice rang out in the void. Everyone's body trembled as they abruptly raised their heads. A light flashed above the void, and 3 figures appeared. Ling Xiao's robes were whiter than snow, and his hair fluttered in the wind. He stood in the sky, exuding an incomparably vast aura. Behind Ling Xiao was a woman in black armor, looking valiant and heroic, and a brawny man with a bruised nose and swollen face. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a hint of a smile, and his gaze fell on Yang Kai, causing him to tremble all over. His eyes were filled with incomparable horror. Ling Xiao, how can you be fine? Why didn't Commander Tai Shui kill you? Yang Kai's face was incomparably pale, and his body unconsciously trembled all over. It's not that he didn't kill me, but that I killed him. Ling Xiao glanced at Yang Kai and said indifferently. His voice was very calm, but when it fell into Yang Kai's ears, it was like a clap of thunder, exploding all over his body, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. That was the commander of the Black Dragon Army, and he died in Ling Xiao's hands? Wasn't he afraid of the Black Dragon Army's revenge? Lord Ling Xiao is back. Ha ha ha. We're saved. This time these bastards are all dead. Many experts of the Xianpin tribe saw Ling Xiao's figure in the void and trembled all over, their eyes filled with incomparable fanaticism and surprise. Brother Ling Xiao, I knew you were fine. Lu Shui muttered to herself, smiling like a blooming flower, but tears had already blurred her eyes. Lord Ling Xiao, we were all bewitched by Yang Kai. Please spare our lives. The experts of the 9 tribes were completely terrified at this moment, and hurriedly knelt down in front of Ling Xiao, their eyes filled with incomparable horror. Black Bear, kill them all. Ling Xiao said indifferently, no longer wanting to listen to what they had to say. All right, master, watch carefully. The eyes of the dark demon bear behind Ling Xiao suddenly lit up. Finally, it found a chance to perform well, and its endless resentment towards Ling Xiao was now vented on Yang Kai and the people of the 9 tribes. Run! Yang Kai roared. He knew that Ling Xiao would definitely not let him go this time, so he turned around and wanted to escape. You want to run? He master said to kill you all, so you all must die. The dark demon bear sneered and swung its paw over. Rumble. Heaven and earth trembled as the huge bear paw covered the sky, containing an unparalleled terrifying power. In an instant, Yang Kai and the elders of the Tianxiang sect were smashed into meat paste. Boom. Miserable screams, begging for mercy, and even cursing rose and fell one after another. However, they all came to an abrupt end. Under the violent attack of the dark demonic bear, the powerhouses of the Sky Incense sect and the 9 big tribes were all killed. The people of the Xianpin tribe were shocked. They did not expect the burly man behind Ling Xiao to be so terrifying. Could he be a supreme being as well? Lord Ling Xiao is too strong. Lu Zhongtian exclaimed softly, his eyes filled with incomparable awe. He saved me once again, saved the Xianpin tribe. Lu Shuang also sighed softly, her eyes filled with an incomparably complicated look. However, Ling Xiao did not care about the expressions of the crowd. Instead, he descended from the void and came directly in front of Lu Shuer. Shuer, I'm leaving. Ling Xiao smiled slightly and patted Lu Shuer's little head in a very doting manner. Lu Shuer had saved Ling Xiao, and she was innocent and cute. In Ling Xiao's heart, she was already like a younger sister. The reason why Ling Xiao helped the Xianpin tribe was entirely because of Lu Shuer. Chapter 9:15. What? Lu Shuer's eyes flashed, revealing a strong sense of reluctance. Although she had long guessed that Ling Xiao would leave the Xianpin tribe, she did not expect this day to come so soon. Brother Ling Xiao, are you leaving? But Shuer can't bear to part with you. Lu Shuer could not help but walk up and hug Ling Xiao, whispering softly, Shuer, be good. Brother Ling Xiao will come back to see you. Before I leave, I'll give you a gift. Ling Xiao smiled, then turned to look at the dark demon bear. Black bear, come here. Master, I'm here. Those guys were all killed by me. The dark demon bear looked at Ling Xiao as if he was presenting a treasure, his face full of pride. What's there to be proud of? Shuer is your master from now on, do you understand? Hurry up and recognize her as your master. Ling Xiao glared at the dark demon bear. What? You want me to recognize her as my master? The dark demon bear's eyes widened, his face full of reluctance. Why, do you have a problem with that? Ling Xiao looked at him and said with a half-smile. The dark demon bear suddenly trembled, as if recalling the fear of being beaten up by Ling Xiao. He hurriedly shook his head and said, I wouldn't dare, how would I dare? Then, without needing Ling Xiao to say anything, the dark demon bear offered a trace of its primordial spirit, and under Ling Xiao's control, a furry little bear appeared in Shuer's mind. Brother Ling Xiao, you're giving it to me? Lu Shuer's eyes widened, her face full of disbelief. Although the dark demon bear in front of her looked simple and honest, it was a genuine demon venerable. It had just killed all the people from the Tianxiang sect and the 9 main tribes alone. Shuer, why aren't you thanking Lord Ling Xiao? Lu Zhongtian's eyes were full of surprise. Previously, when Ling Xiao was about to leave, he was extremely uneasy. He did not expect Ling Xiao to capture a demon venerable and give it to Lu Shuer, which made him extremely excited. With the dark demon bear, the Xianpin tribe had the ability to protect themselves even if Ling Xiao was not around. In this land of 1,000,000 miles, no one dared to provoke them. Lu Shuang was also full of envy. Thank you, Brother Ling Xiao. Lu Shuer said very sensibly. Shuer, you have to work hard in your cultivation after I leave. Your Xianpin physique is a gift for you, but it is also a disaster. If you don't have enough strength, you will be bullied by bad people. Do you understand? Ling Xiao said softly with some emotion. He had underestimated the temptation of the mysterious beauty physique. This was a supreme physique that could be used as a top-grade cauldron. Yang Kai had made a heavenly Dao oath, but he didn't hesitate to go against his oath to capture Lu Shuer, for the mysterious beauty physique. With the help of Lu Shuer's Xianpin physique, not only could Yang Kai break the shackles of the heavenly Dao oath, he might even become a supreme being. It was a temptation that no one could resist. Don't worry, big brother Ling Xiao, I will work hard to cultivate. One day, I'll catch up to Big Brother Ling Xiao and protect you. Lu Shuer said firmly. All right, I'll be waiting, Ling Xiao said with a smile. Once the matters of the Xianpin tribe were settled, Ling Xiao and Chu Qianqian turned around and soared into the sky, disappearing into the horizon very quickly. Lu Shuer looked at Ling Xiao's disappearing back. Her big eyes were in a daze, and her gaze was filled with determination. Shuer, let's go back. Lord Ling Xiao is a divine dragon from the 9 heavens. He's destined to soar into the sky and go to a wider world. The Xianpin tribe is too small to keep him. After all, we're not people of the same world as him. Lu Zhongtian saw Lu Shuer's expression and understood in his heart. He shook his head and sighed softly. Yes, Shuer, let's go. Lu Shuang also softly persuaded. Big sister, do you think that female general who came with Big Brother Ling Xiao just now likes Big Brother Ling Xiao? Lu Shuer's tone changed as she looked at Lu Shuang, and asked. Lu Shuang didn't react. Big sister, I won't lose to her. One day, I'll catch up to Big Brother Ling Xiao and snatch him back. Lu Shuer smiled brightly. She turned around and walked towards the Xianpin tribe. Little master, wait for me. The dark demon bear rubbed his big bald head and hurriedly followed. No matter what, this little master looked very kind and cute. It was better than following that fiend, wasn't it? Lu Zhongtian and Lu Shuang looked at each other and shook their heads with bitter smiles. In Lu Shuang's heart, there was a sudden envy. She didn't know what she was envious of. After Ling Xiao and Chu Qianqian left the Xianpin tribe, they tore through the void and traveled. 3 days later, they traversed thousands of miles and arrived at the Ninein secret realm. This was a huge black swamp. Ancient trees towered into the sky. Between the ancient trees, there were some black swamps. There were all kinds of strange flowers and old vines wrapped around them. It looked wild and ancient. In the swamp, there were black crocodiles hunting strange birds that drank water. There was a huge divine eagle that descended from the 9 heavens and grabbed a huge rhinoceros demonic beast. Its wings covered the sky and the sun. There was also a huge black python that was hundreds of feet long that silently crushed a huge tiger-like demonic beast. This was a desolate place where demonic beasts roamed. It was very primitive. The Supreme Ninein once left behind 9 Ninein swords. The legend that 9 Ninein swords can open the Ninein secret realm has been passed down in the reincarnation world for many years. I accidentally obtained a Ninein sword and read many ancient books. Only then did I know about the existence of the torch dragon Heavenly Pearl. When they arrived at the swamp, a light flashed in Chu Qianqian's hand, and a small black sword appeared. It looked to be only a foot long. It shone with a cold light, and emitted a powerful fluctuation of the law. Good sword, Ling Xiao praised. This Ninein sword was not only a token to enter the Ninein secret realm, but also a supreme weapon. It was very powerful. It's not just me. My big brother also obtained a Ninein sword. In order to prevent me from obtaining the torch dragon blood essence, he will be our biggest opponent this time. The other 7 Ninein swords also have owners. So the competition this time will be very intense, Chu Qianqian said. How many people can a Ninein sword bring in? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed and asked. It can bring in 2 people at most, Chu Qianqian said. Then you really trust me? Ling Xiao smiled. He did not expect Chu Qianqian to place all her bets on him. Your physical body is unparalleled. If I'm not wrong, you should have the bloodline of the divine dragon, right? Even if the other supreme being experts are stronger than you, they are definitely no match for you in terms of physical strength alone. Chu Qianqian was full of confidence in Ling Xiao. Chapter 9:16. In the end, Ling Xiao and Chu Qianqian came to a black lake. This was where the Ninein sword was pointing, which meant that this was where the entrance to the Ninein secret realm was. Someone is already here? Chu Qianqian's eyes flashed. She immediately saw a few powerful figures sitting cross-legged by the black lake. Princess Qianqian? I didn't expect you to be one of the Ninein sword masters. What a coincidence. A surprised voice was heard. In the distance, a young man wearing a white robe and carrying a long sword on his back walked over. His face was like jade, and his black hair fluttered in the wind. Behind him were two extremely thin and weak old men, but their auras were extremely terrifying. Songyu. Chu Qianqian looked at the young man in a white robe coldly. Qianqian, is this the helper that you found? He looks good, but why doesn't he have any cultivation at all? Do you think that he can enter the Ninein secret realm with his weak physique? Songyu sized Ling Xiao up with a look of contempt in his eyes. You don't have to worry about that. Chu Qianqian replied indifferently. Ling Xiao, Songyu is the ninth son of Emperor Song. He specializes in swordsmanship and has strong combat strength. It is said that he was born with a sword body and his physical body is extremely strong. Emperor Song once proposed marriage to my royal father, wanting me to marry Songyu, but I rejected him. He shouldn't be a threat to us. Chu Qianqian explained Songyu's situation to Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's eyes lit up as he nodded. Songyu was at 5th level utmost exalted realm while the two elders behind him were both at 9th level utmost exalted realm. Despite their petite stature, they exuded immense vitality and powerful physical bodies. Clearly, they weren't humans but demonic beasts. Chu Qianqian and Ling Xiao found a place to sit down. However, Songyu didn't give up and came forward shamelessly. Songyu, Princess Qianqian doesn't like you. Why do you have to be so nice to her? Why don't I betroth my sister to you? An ear-piercing voice was heard. A burly young man with a cold and arrogant expression was sitting in the distance. Behind him was a monk in a linen robe. His body was emitting dark golden light, and it was obvious that he had a strong physical body. Chuan Luanhong, I like Princess Qianqian. What does that have to do with you? I don't want your sister even if you give her to me for free. Songyu sneered. Chu Qianqian stared at Chuan Luanhong and said flatly, Chuan Luanhong, don't try to sow discord. Chuan Luanhong was the son of the Chakravarti king. He was at the 6th level of the Supreme Realm and cultivated the indestructible Vajra divine technique of the Buddhist sect. The two monks behind him were from the Buddhist sect and had extremely strong physical bodies. But there were Buddhists, there were powerful Supreme Realm, Supreme Realm, Supreme Realm, Supreme Realm, Supreme Realm. Chu Qianqian's is. However, there were many powerful Buddhists in Chuanluan region. Chuan Luanhong was not only powerful, but he also had a strong physical body. Buddha sect's indestructible Vajra body refining technique was said to be the #1 body refining technique in Buddha sect. It was said that he had cultivated it to the great completion realm, and he could fight against a supreme weapon with his bare hands. Although Chu Qianqian was confident in Ling Xiao, she still looked serious when facing Chuan Luanhong and the two monks. Ling Xiao, Chuan Luanhong, and the two monks have cultivated Buddha sect's indestructible Vajra body refining technique. They are the biggest threat to us besides my brother. You have to be careful. Chu Qianqian told Ling Xiao about Chuan Luanhong's identity and reminded him. Buddha sect's indestructible Vajra body refining technique? Interesting. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He could feel that Chuan Luanhong and the two monks had strong physical bodies. The aura that they exuded caused the void to tremble slightly. But the stronger the aura was, the stronger Ling Xiao's fighting spirit was. In the Ninein secret realm, Ling Xiao wanted to see if the so-called indestructible Vajra body refining technique could withstand a punch from his true dragon body. Hee, Chu Qianqian, the kid you brought doesn't look like much. He's so weak. I'm afraid he will be killed by the demonic beasts once he enters the Ninein secret realm. Could it be that he's a gigolo that you're keeping? Ha ha. Chuan Luanhong looked at Ling Xiao with disdain and laughed loudly. Chuan Luanhong, don't be so arrogant. If Ling Xiao attacks, he can kill you with a single punch. Don't think that your indestructible Vajra body refining technique is the best in the world. Chu Qianqian sneered. No matter what, she could not lose her momentum. Kill me with a single punch? Ha ha ha. Very well, I'll wait. Chuan Luanhong sneered as though he had heard the funniest joke in the world. Ling Xiao squinted his eyes. There was a glimmer of light in his eyes. He liked such arrogant geniuses the most. It would be great to kill them with a single punch. Other than Songyu and Chuan Luanhong, there was another arrogant-looking young man in a black robe. He was alone with an ancient sword on his back. His aura was cold and his eyes were closed. He was already a level 3 Supreme Realm martial artist, but he looked unfamiliar. Even Chu Tiantian, Song Yu and Chuan Luanhong did not know where he came from. That young man is called John Doe. He's not to be trifled with. I tested him just now. I'm afraid his combat strength is not much weaker than mine. Song Yu stood beside Chu Tiantian. When she saw Chu Tiantian looking at the arrogant-looking young man in a black robe, she quickly explained, John Doe? Don't worry about him. Chu Tiantian shook her head and sat down with her legs crossed. In Chu Tiantian's heart, the biggest threats in the Nining secret realm were her brother and Chuan Luanhong. Everyone sat by the Black Lake and closed their eyes to adjust their breathing while waiting for the Nining secret realm to open. Not long after, the other 5 Nining sword masters also arrived. King Pingding's third son, Duan Changkong, King Dusher's fifth son, Du Tianhe, King Bianqing's sixth son, Bianyun, King Kong Jizun, and my brother, Chu Jian. When Chu Tiantian saw the 5 Nining sword masters, she had a serious look in her eyes. Duan Changkong, Du Tianhe, and Bianyun were all sons of kings. Although they were strong, they were only on par with Song Yu and did not pose much of a threat. King Kong Jizun was an itinerant cultivator. He was a level 9 Supreme Realm martial artist and looked very honest. He was very respectful to the other princes. However, the arrival of King Chuzhong's son, Chu Jian, changed everyone's expression. Chu Jian was a peerless sky pride on the reincarnation role in the reincarnation world. He was already a level 9 Supreme Realm martial artist, and it was said that he could attain a title within 100 years. Chu Jian looked like a perfect young man. His eyes were gentle, and he had a faint smile on his face. His long hair was draped over his shoulders, and his skin emitted a jade-like luster. He had come alone, but that peerless bearing of his made everyone faintly feel inferior. Chapter 9:17. Tiantian, I didn't expect you to be the Nining sword owner as well. When we reach the Nining secret realm, stay by my side and I will protect you. Don't be with people of unknown origins. Chu Jian glanced at Chu Tiantian and smiled. He then glanced at Ling Xiao discreetly. You don't have to worry about me. I can do it myself. Chu Tiantian said flatly. Tiantian, you are too stubborn. I am doing this for your own good. Chu Jian sighed and looked at Ling Xiao indifferently. Lad, you better take good care of Tiantian in the Nining secret realm. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. Ling Xiao smiled and raised his eyebrows. He said flatly, Who do you think you are? How dare you scold me? Although Chu Jian's cultivation was at the 9th level of the Venerable Realm, and he was the strongest among them, Ling Xiao didn't think much of him at all. Ling Xiao did not cause trouble, but it did not mean that he was afraid of trouble. So what if he was the crown prince of King Chujiang? If he dared to provoke Ling Xiao, he would just kill him with a slap. Lad, you are too arrogant. Those who are too arrogant usually don't live long. Chu Jian's face turned cold, and there was a sharp glint in his eyes. A terrifying Supreme Realm aura spread out from his body, and pressed down on Ling Xiao as if he wanted to force Ling Xiao to kneel down. Enough! Chu Tiantian stared coldly at Chu Jian and said, Brother, I know that you want to fight with me for the Torch Dragon Essence blood. Let's fight with our own abilities. You don't have to be hypocritical here. Chu Jian looked gentle, but he was actually very proud and narrow-minded. Otherwise, he would not have come personally to fight with Chu Tiantian for the Torch Dragon Essence blood. Good, very good. My good sister, I would like to see what abilities you have to snatch the Torch Dragon Essence blood from me. Chu Jian said coldly. His body emitted a glazed light as he turned around and left. Has his indestructible glazed body reached the Great Completion Realm? Chu Tiantian's face changed as she muttered to herself. Her expression turned solemn. His physical body is not bad. It is even stronger than Chuan Luanhong. Ling Zhao's eyes flickered as he spoke indifferently. Chu Tiantian took a deep breath and nodded. His glazed indestructible body is an ancient divine skill. If he cultivates it to the complete realm, he can even kill a titled supreme with a single hand. We must not let him get the Torch Dragon blood essence. Otherwise, his glazed indestructible body will be upgraded to the complete realm. Don't worry. The Torch Dragon Heavenly Pearl is mine. No one can snatch it away. Ling Xiao smiled faintly, his expression incomparably calm. Among the 9 sword masters, Chuan Luanhong and Chu Jian, whom Chu Qianqian valued the most, were not in Ling Xiao's eyes. On the contrary, Ling Xiao was rather interested in the arrogant young man Wu Ming. Ling Xiao had a feeling that John Doe had some kind of secret. After that, the 9 sword masters separated and sat cross-legged beside the Black Lake, waiting for the opening of the 9 mystery realm. On the other hand, Ling Xiao also seized the time to adjust his breathing, refining the life and death pill, repairing his Dantian and Sea of Qi, and condensing the power of the war god. Although everyone was on guard against each other, nothing happened. A month later, the Black Lake began to tremble. The 9 mystery realm is finally opening. Everyone's eyes were filled with excitement. Rumble. A mysterious spatial energy spread out, causing the Black Lake to tremble slightly. A layer of black divine light emerged and covered the entire lake. Swoosh. 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 9 swords shot up to the sky from the 9 sword masters at the same time. They gathered above the Black Lake and formed an ancient door. The 9 mystery realm is opening. Let's go. Chu Qianqian's eyes were filled with excitement. Everyone leaped into the sky and rushed into the ancient door. Ling Xiao also entered the 9 mystery realm with Chu Qianqian. Boom. A black and cold aura gushed out. The chilling aura seemed to penetrate deep into the bones, causing everyone to tremble slightly. This was an extremely ancient small world. Chilly winds were howling all around, and dark clouds were rolling in the sky. Black lightning flashed, exuding an aura that caused one's heart to palpitate. However, in the middle of the small world, above the sky, there was an ancient palace. It looked like the palace of the heavenly emperor. It was shrouded in endless black light, ancient and mysterious. Rumble. The sky shook, and a mysterious and vast power of law shrouded the heavens and earth. Everyone's body trembled. Regardless of whether it was the divine energy in their body or the primordial spirit, they were sealed and could no longer use it. Only their physical strength could be used. Forbidden God territory. Although everyone knew that there was a forbidden God territory in the 9 mystery realm, they were still shocked. They immediately retreated, and were on guard against each other. That palace should be where the Supreme 9 Yin's inheritance is. Let's go. Chu Qianqian whispered to Ling Xiao. She was ready to leave and head towards the palace. Stop right there. A cruel smile appeared at the corner of Chuan Luanhong's mouth. Together with the 2 monks behind him, they instantly surrounded Chu Qianqian and Ling Xiao. Chuan Luanhong, what are you trying to do? Chu Qianqian's face changed. She did not expect Chuan Luanhong to want to make a move the moment they entered the 9 mystery realm. I'm not trying to do anything. Princess Qianqian, I just don't like the lad behind you. Hand him over to me and I'll let you go if you kill him. Chuan Luanhong sneered. Boom. Chuan Luanhong's body exuded a dark golden light. There seemed to be a halo behind his head. Blood qi surged around his body, exuding an eternal and indestructible fluctuation. This was the indestructible Vajra divine skill of the Buddhist sect. It was said to be able to cultivate an immortal physical body. Everyone instantly retreated with fear in their eyes. Even Chu Jian's eyes flickered. He did not care about Chu Qianqian at all. He turned around and headed towards the palace in the sky. Chuan Luanhong, you can kill that lad, but you can't touch Princess Qianqian. Otherwise, I won't go easy on you. Song Yu looked at Chuan Luanhong with an ugly expression. If they were in the outside world, Song Yu would not be afraid of Chuan Luanhong with his unparalleled sword cultivation. However, with the Forbidden God territory, he was no match for Chuan Luanhong. Don't worry. I only want that lad's life. Chuan Luanhong smiled faintly. His gaze fell on Ling Xiao and he shouted coldly, Lad, come out and face your death. Ling Xiao was slightly stunned and felt speechless. He did not offend Chuan Luanhong at all. However, Chuan Luanhong wanted to kill him. The only explanation was that Chuan Luanhong wanted to use him to establish his authority. Who asked him to look so frail and weak, without any cultivation at all? You really want to kill me? Chapter 918. Chuan Luanhong, what are you trying to do? We haven't even seen the Supreme Nine Yin's inheritance. Aren't you afraid that it will fall into the hands of others? Chu Qianqian's eyes flashed with anger as she stared at Chuan Luanhong. Although she knew that Ling Zhao's physical body was extremely strong, Chuan Luanhong had already cultivated the indestructible Vajra divine technique to the great accomplishment realm. In addition, the two monks behind him were also experts who had cultivated the indestructible Vajra divine technique. Other than Chu Jian, the three of them had the power to defeat everyone present. He Chu Qianqian, you'd better step aside. I don't want to kill you, but it doesn't mean that I don't dare to. Chuan Luanhong sneered as his eyes flashed with a fierce light. Boom. Chuan Luanhong's body emitted rays of dark golden divine light. His skin looked as if it was cast in gold. It was dazzling and his entire body exuded a majestic aura. In addition to the two old monks behind him, the three of them were like three dazzling divine suns. Their aura was extremely terrifying, causing the surrounding people to turn solemn. Let's go. Duan Chongkong, Do Tianhe, Bian Yuan, and Supreme Vajra turned around and left quickly. They knew that Chuan Luanhong was very strong, so they decided to enter the palace first to see if they could obtain the Supreme Nine Yin's inheritance. Qianqian, why don't you hand this kid over? Chuan Luanhong wouldn't dare to harm you. Otherwise, I won't let him off. Song Yu said with a wry smile. He didn't want to go against Chuan Luanhong before he found the Supreme Nine Yin's inheritance. At this moment, a faint voice sounded. Princess Qianqian, can I kill him? Chu Qianqian was stunned. She looked at Ling Xiao and said with a wry smile. Brother Ling, Chuan Luanhong is the son of Chuan Luan King. Killing him is indeed troublesome. However, if Brother Ling can kill him, Chuanjiang region will bear all the consequences. That's good. Ling Xiao smiled faintly as his gaze fell on Chuan Luanhong. There was a trace of coldness in his eyes. If Chuan Luanhong thought that Ling Xiao was a pushover, he was wrong. Kill me? Ha. Kid, you're arrogant. Come. As long as you can kill me, I promise I won't hold you responsible. But with your small body, even if I stand here and let you hit me 100 times, I'm afraid you won't be able to make me take a step back. Chuan Luanhong sneered. He could tell that Ling Xiao did not have any cultivation at all. He was not faking it. Even if his physical body was strong, how could it be stronger than his invincible Vajra divine power? There's no need for 100 punches. One punch is enough. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. His eyes were still as calm as ever. Brat, you're courting death. Chuan Luanhong shouted coldly as killing intent flashed in his eyes. Instantly, he threw a punch at Ling Xiao. Boom. His clothes were torn to shreds, revealing his dark golden skin. His entire body exuded an aura of eternity. His blood qi seemed to have condensed into the form of a glaring Vajra in the void, fusing with his fist and punching out rapidly, causing the void to explode. This punch was incomparably terrifying. Song Yu and Chu Qianqian's expressions changed. Although Chuan Luanhong was arrogant, he did have the right to be arrogant. Is this the invincible Vajra divine power? It's a pity that you haven't cultivated it to perfection. Ling Xiao shook his head as a trace of disappointment flashed in his eyes. He could see that the invincible Vajra divine art that Chuan Luanhong cultivated was indeed an incomparably powerful body, refining divine art. However, Chuan Luanhong had only cultivated his physical body to an incomparably powerful state. His tendons, bones, blood vessels, and organs had yet to fuse into one. Ling Xiao guessed that the reason for this was either that Chuan Luanhong was not talented enough, or that the invincible Vajra divine power was incomplete. However, he was more inclined towards the second possibility. Boom. Ling Xiao also threw out a simple punch. His pure physical strength erupted, and his fist print was like a golden mountain that came crashing down from the sky. At this moment, Ling Xiao seemed to have transformed from a harmless little rabbit into an archean ferocious beast. The terrifying aura that Ling Xiao exuded made Chuan Luanhong and Song Yu's expressions change. Boom. When the two fists collided, the void trembled violently. It was as though there were black lightning intertwining and exploding around the two of them. Ling Xiao's figure did not change. He was surrounded by a dazzling golden glow. His long hair fluttered in the wind, and his eyes were incomparably sharp. On the other hand, Chuan Luanhong was sent flying a few hundred feet away by Ling Zhao's punch. His qi and blood were in turmoil before he managed to stabilize himself on the ground. What? Chuan Luanhong's eyes were filled with disbelief. He did not expect Ling Xiao, who did not seem to have any cultivation, to have such a terrifying physical strength. Chuan Luanhong had already cultivated the invincible Vajra divine power to the great completion realm, and could fight against a supreme weapon with his bare hands. However, he could not withstand Ling Zhao's punch at all. Qianqian, could this guy be a divine beast in human form? How can his physical body be so terrifying? Song Yu's eyes were also wide open, his face filled with shock. Ling Zhao's physical body is invincible. Not to mention Chuan Luanhong. Even my brother's azure immortal body might not be a match for Ling Xiao. Chu Qianqian said with a faint smile. Her eyes were filled with confidence. However, she was also very nervous. She was afraid that Ling Xiao would not be a match for Chuan Luanhong. If that happened, it would be troublesome to obtain the Torch Dragon blood essence. Fortunately, Ling Xiao did not disappoint her. He defeated Chuan Luanhong with a single punch. Brat, I don't believe that you can withstand my invincible Vajra divine power. Take my punch, Vajra mountain uprooting. Chuan Luanhong roared. His eyes were filled with coldness as he threw out another punch. Rumble. Dazzling golden light shone from Chuan Luanhong's body, causing the void to tremble violently. Behind him, there seemed to be a towering mountain that was pulled up by him. Then he threw a punch towards the sky. It contained a grand and invincible intent realm, as though the heavens and earth were about to be shattered by this punch. I have said that you are too weak. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed sharply as he threw out a punch at Chuan Luanhong. Roar. A vast dragon's aura erupted from Ling Zhao's body. A huge dragon's roar shook the heavens. A huge palm covered the sky. There were golden runes on it. It looked like the hand of a celestial emperor. It was ancient and mysterious. A rainbow-colored divine dragon emerged from the center of the palm. Rumble. The power of the thousand dragons' god-slaying skill. This palm directly shattered Chuluanhong's fist imprint. Then it pressed down on Chuluanhong's head, containing the power to destroy everything. Not good. Seventh Prince, block it. The expressions of the two monks behind Chuan Luanhong also changed greatly. They roared at the same time and charged towards Ling Zhao's palm. Chapter 919. Boom. The void shattered in an instant and boundless divine light burst out. Even the two monks were unable to do anything. The thousand dragons' god-slaying skill was close to the power of a deity. Even a titled supreme being could not withstand it, let alone the three of them. Crack. The three huge fist prints shattered at the same time. Even the dark golden radiance on Chuan Luanhong and the two monks exploded into a rain of light. The three of them were slammed into the ground by Ling Zhao's palm. A huge palm print appeared on the ground. Chuan Luanhong and the two monks were horrified. Their faces were pale, and they were coughing out blood. They had been severely injured by Ling Xiao. Song Yu and Chu Qianqian, who were at the side, also widened their eyes in shock. Especially Chu Qianqian. She realized that she had underestimated Ling Zhao's combat strength. Chuan Luanhong and the two monks had cultivated the indestructible Vajra divine skill. Their physical bodies were unparalleled. Even Chu Jian could not suppress the three of them at the same time. How strong was Ling Zhao's combat strength? Qianqian, you have found a great expert this time. I think even Chu Jian is no match for him. Is this guy still human? Song Yu was dumbfounded. Her eyes were filled with disbelief. I didn't expect it either. Chu Qianqian said with a bitter smile. Boom. At this moment, the world suddenly trembled violently. The black palace in the distance actually emitted a strange fluctuation, and it shone brightly. Oh no, that palace has been opened. Ling Xiao, let's go. If we are late, the torch dragon heavenly pearl will fall into the hands of others. Chu Qianqian's eyes suddenly flickered. She revealed an extremely anxious expression and hurriedly urged. All right, let's go. Ling Xiao was decisive. He did not bother with Chuan Luanhong and the other two monks. Together with Chu Qianqian, he flew towards the palace. Ling Xiao had already sensed a dangerous aura from Chakravarti Hong. It should be a treasure that the Chakravarti king had left on Chakravarti Hong. It would be impossible to kill Chakravarti Hong in a short period of time. To Ling Xiao, Chuan Luan Hong was not a threat. The torch dragon Heavenly Pearl was more important. Let's go to. Song Yu and the two old men behind him looked at each other, then immediately soared into the sky and left. Seventh Prince, what should we do? The two monks looked at Chuan Luan Hong and said, Ling Xiao deserved to die. Although he is very strong, the torch dragon Heavenly Orb must not fall into his hands. Chu Jian will definitely deal with him. In a while, we will act according to the situation and leave after snatching the torch dragon Heavenly Orb. Chuan Luan Hong's eyes were filled with shock and anger. He was extremely wary of Ling Xiao, but he wasn't willing to leave just like that. In the end, he gritted his teeth and decided to go take a look. Chuan Luan Hong and the two monks each took out a golden elixir pill and swallowed it. Instantly, blood qi rose from their bodies and their injuries healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. The three of them soared into the sky and rushed towards the palace. In the void, a gigantic black palace floated, emitting an ancient and mysterious aura. Four ancient words were carved with ancient runes and appeared above the palace. Nine Divine Palace. At this moment, the Nine Divine Palace was emitting a resplendent light. The two ancient doors had already opened, gushing out a gorgeous divine light. As for Chu Jian, Duan Chongkong, and the others who had arrived earlier, they had already entered the Nine Divine Palace. Nine Divine Palace. It's indeed the place of inheritance left behind by Supreme Nine. Ling Xiao, let's go. We must get the torch dragon Heavenly Pearl. Seeing the words Nine Divine Palace, Chu Qianqian's eyes were filled with joy. Nine Divine Palace? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. The wordless heavenly book in his sea of consciousness trembled slightly and emitted a strange fluctuation, warning him that there was danger in the Nine Divine Palace. Princess Qianqian, we'd better be careful. I'm afraid the Nine Divine Palace isn't that simple. Ling Xiao said slowly. Oh, do you see anything? Chu Qianqian asked. No. I just have a feeling that there might be danger. Ling Xiao said. Wealth comes from danger. No matter what, I must get the torch dragon blood essence. Ling Xiao, you must help me this time. Chu Qianqian's eyes revealed a trace of pleading. Don't worry. I'll naturally do what I promised. However, we'd better be careful. Let's go. Ling Xiao glanced at Chu Qianqian and said. Swoosh. Swoosh. The two of them also flashed and plunged into the Nine Divine Palace. In the Nine Divine Palace, pure Nine Qi filled the air. It looked ethereal and peaceful. Chu Jian, Duan Chongkong, Du Tianhe, Bian Yun, Supreme Vajra and the nameless youth were all there. You're not dead. Chu Jian's eyes flashed as he looked at Ling Xiao with some surprise. Originally, he thought that Chuan Luan Hong would definitely kill Ling Xiao. However, he did not expect Ling Xiao to appear here safe and sound. Everyone was also a little surprised as they looked at Ling Xiao with some uncertainty. If Ling Xiao relied on his own strength to escape from Chuan Luan Hong's hands, then this youth's strength was probably very strong. He was also a formidable opponent. Soon Song Yu, Chuan Luan Hong and the rest entered the Nine Divine Palace. Song Yu did not say anything. Naturally, Chuan Luan Hong would not say that he was defeated by Ling Xiao with a single punch. He just looked gloomy and did not say a word. However, everyone was only slightly surprised for a moment before their eyes were attracted by the boundary in front of them. In front of them was a boundary that was intertwined with colorful lights. There were 3 treasures floating in it. A black bead, an ancient jade book, and a black ancient sword. The black bead looked dazzling and there seemed to be a small dragon swimming on it. It looked mysterious and unfathomable. The ancient jade book exuded a Koldeen Qi and was extremely mysterious. It should have recorded some kind of powerful martial arts cultivation technique. The last black ancient sword gave Ling Xiao a very strange feeling. The aura it exuded was very similar to Chu Qianqian's Nine sword, but it was much stronger. After seeing these 3 treasures, everyone's eyes suddenly lit up with a blazing light. They could no longer look away. Ling Xiao, that black bead should be the torch dragon Heavenly Pearl. I can feel the existence of the torch dragon blood essence in it. You must get it. That ancient jade book should be the Nine divine technique cultivated by Nine Supreme. That ancient sword should be the Nine divine sword. However, you can give up on the Nine divine technique and Nine divine sword, but you must get the torch dragon heavenly pearl. Seeing the three treasures in front of her, Chu Qianqian's breathing became a little rapid as she excitedly transmitted her voice to Ling Xiao. Torch dragon heavenly pearl? Great! Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He could feel a strange dragon qi in the torch dragon heavenly pearl. It was different from the real dragon bloodline in his body, but there was some kind of connection. It should be the torch dragon blood essence that Chu Qianqian mentioned. Chapter 920. The barrier in front of them looked very powerful. It would not be easy to break it. Let me give it a try. Song Yu's eyes flashed as he stepped forward. No one stopped him. It was a good opportunity for someone to test the power of the barrier. After all, the three treasures inside would depend on their own abilities. Clang. Song Yu unsheathed the ancient sword in his hand. It looked extremely sharp and emitted a white sword radiance. He held the ancient sword in his hand and pierced through the air. The tip of the sword trembled and vibrated 81 times in the void. It was like a strange flower blooming. Then it suddenly imprinted on the barrier. Zhou Tian Emperor Sword Scripture. Although he can't use his divine power and primordial spirit, Song Yu was able to display 81 sword radiances with his physical strength. He is indeed very powerful. Chu Jian's eyes glinted as he spoke slowly. The Zhou Tian Emperor Sword Scripture was created by the first Emperor Song. It contained Zhou Tian's boundless and unparalleled sword intent. Song Yu was also a sword genius. The power of this sword was indeed very strong. Even Zhuoluan Hong was a little surprised. This sword had the power to threaten him. Boom. Song Yu's eyes shone brightly. At this moment he looked like a peerless sword god. His body emitted an unparalleled sword intent. When the sword imprinted on the barrier, an unparalleled divine light burst out, causing the void to tremble and the world to roar. However, to everyone's disappointment, the barrier did not even tremble. This barrier should be hiding the Supreme Nine Yin's divine power. I'm afraid it will be difficult for us to break it. Song Yu shook his head and said with a wry smile, "Let me give it a try." Chu Jian slowly said as he walked out. Everyone's eyes were filled with anticipation. Chu Jian was a peerless genius on the reincarnation role. He was extremely powerful. It was said that he had the combat strength of a titled warrior, especially the indestructible glass body that Chu Jian cultivated. It was said that he had reached the peak of the greater completion realm. He was only one step away from the complete realm. Although Zhuoluan Hong's indestructible Vajra body was very powerful, he had to admit that it was still a little weaker than Chu Jian's indestructible glass body. Wang. Chu Jian's body glowed with a resplendent light. His skin was like a crystal, sparkling and translucent. He walked with a majestic gait. His stature was extraordinary, and his black hair fluttered in the wind. His eyes were filled with confidence. As he stood there, the horrifying fluctuations emitted from his body caused the surrounding space to tremble. Everyone's gaze turned solemn. Glass immortal body? Interesting indeed. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. He could feel a perfect state from Chu Jian's body. Chu Jian's physical strength was very strong. It was probably not much weaker than Ling Zhao's. Rumble. Chu Jian punched out. The blood and qi behind him boiled as if a vast heavenly river had appeared. Layers of divine power pierced through and finally imprinted on the enchantment. Wang. The boundary trembled like water ripples, and a bright rune spread out. It lit up slightly, but then dimmed down in an instant. Boom. 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 The battle intent in Chu Jian's eyes was unparalleled. He threw out dozens of punches, but other than causing some ripples to appear on the barrier, it had no effect. He was unable to break through the barrier. This enchantment is indeed very strong. I'm afraid that even if all of us work together, we won't be able to break it. It's impossible to break through the enchantment by force. We have to think of another way. Chu Jian's eyes flashed as he spoke slowly. Princes, I have an idea, but I don't know if it will work. Vajra Sovereign, who had been standing in the corner, suddenly spoke up. He looked very simple and honest. Oh, what idea do you have? Let's see. Chu Jian glanced at Vajra Sovereign and said non-committally, Princes, I'm thinking that these 3 treasures must be the inheritance left behind by Supreme Nine Yin. Since he left the 9 swords behind, he must have chosen his inheritor from the 9 sword masters. Why don't we try using the 9 Yin sword? Vajra Sovereign said carefully. 9 Yin sword. Everyone's eyes lit up. If Vajra Sovereign had not mentioned it, they would have almost forgotten about the existence of the 9 Yin sword. Since the 9 sword masters were able to come to the 9 Yin secret realm, it must be because Supreme 9 Yin wanted to choose his inheritor. Then let's work together and see if we can break through the enchantment with the 9 Yin sword. What do you think? Chu Jian glanced at everyone, and everyone nodded in agreement. Very well. After we break through the enchantment, we'll use our own methods to get the 3 treasures. However, we still need to work together. I don't want anyone to play tricks. Do you understand? Chu Jian said coldly. His gaze lingered on Ling Xiao for a moment. No problem. Everyone said at the same time. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. 9 Yin swords instantly appeared in the hands of the 9 people. Suddenly, the void trembled slightly, and the enchantment in front of them began to emit a dazzling light. There was a mysterious connection between the 9 Yin swords and the enchantment in front of them. Attack! Chu Jian's eyes lit up with joy as he roared. The 9 sword masters activated all the strength in their bodies at the same time and drove the 9 Yin swords toward the enchantment. Rumble! The enchantment began to tremble violently, and a dazzling light burst out. The enchantment seemed to have formed a mysterious vortex, and it spewed out a dazzling light. The 9 Yin swords merged into the enchantment in an instant and disappeared completely. Kucha! The enchantment began to dim, as if it would disappear at any time. It turns out that the 9 Yin swords are the key to opening the enchantment. Chu Qianqian exclaimed in surprise, and her expression became nervous. The 9 sword masters began to be wary of each other. At the same time, their eyes were filled with passion. They were waiting for the enchantment to disappear completely, so that they could rush forward to snatch the treasures. Ling Xiao. Chu Qianqian felt a little nervous and could not help but exclaim softly, Don't worry, I'm here. Ling Xiao said faintly, and there was a glimmer of light in his eyes. Buzz. Soon, the enchantment disappeared completely. The Torch Dragon Heavenly Pearl, 9 Yin Divine Skill, and 9 Yin Divine Sword suddenly appeared before everyone. Swoosh! A figure was extremely fast, like a golden lightning. The moment the enchantment disappeared, he teleported to the side of the 3 treasures and grabbed them. That figure, with white hair and white clothes, had a calm expression. It was Ling Xiao who came with Chu Qianqian. These 3 treasures belong to me. Do you have any objections? Ling Xiao smiled and looked very calm and casual. Chapter 921. Brat, hand over the 3 treasures and I'll spare your life. Chu Qianqian, I think you're tired of living. Could it be that you think you'll be able to devour these 3 treasures by yourself? I only want the 9 Yin Divine Skill and the 9 Yin Divine Sword. Chu Qianqian, don't test our patience. Brat, you're dead today. No one can save you. Duan Changkong, Du Tianhe, Bianyuan, and Chuan Luanhong all shouted. Their eyes were filled with cold killing intent as they surrounded Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao, we only want the Zhu Dragon Heavenly Pearl. Give the other 2 treasures to them. Chu Qianqian panicked. She only wanted the Zhu Dragon Blood Essence and the Zhu Dragon Heavenly Pearl. She did not expect Ling Xiao to be so bold as to snatch the 3 treasures. Song Yu also looked at Ling Xiao with a face full of admiration. Daring to snatch the treasures from the hands of so many experts, just this courage alone was worthy of admiration. However, why did it feel like this brat was looking for death? You're Ling Xiao, right? Hand over the Zhu Dragon Heavenly Pearl and surrender to me. I'll spare your life. Otherwise, you won't be able to walk out of the 9 Yin Divine Palace. Chu Jian also stood up and stared at Ling Xiao with a cold gaze. Just now Ling Xiao's speed was too fast. That kind of instantaneous teleportation power almost made Chu Jian unable to react. Moreover, It also made him a little bewildered. How could Ling Xiao have such strange speed? No need for so much nonsense. These 3 treasures are mine. If you're not convinced, you can come at me together, Ling Xiao said calmly. His eyes revealed a trace of dazzling sharpness and dominance. Brat, you're courting death. Duan Chongkong was the first to lose his patience. Killing intent flashed in his eyes as he threw a punch at Ling Xiao. Boom. A huge black tortoise appeared behind Duan Chongkong. The tortoise and snake coiled around each other. One yin and one yang, exuding an eternal and mysterious aura. This was the black tortoise combat body that Duan Chongkong cultivated. When he threw a punch, it was as if an ancient black tortoise was charging at Ling Xiao. Although Duan Chongkong was angry, he did not underestimate his opponent. Ling Xiao must have something to rely on since he dared to snatch the 3 treasures. Therefore, he used the strongest power of the black tortoise combat body. The power of the black tortoise? Unfortunately, you're too weak. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he said indifferently. Boom. His palm landed. Inside the huge 9-yin divine palace, the void trembled slightly. An ancient palm print pressed down from the sky, exuding a monstrous divine might. In an instant, it shattered Duan Chongkong's fist, and then ruthlessly slammed into his body. Puff. Duan Chongkong felt as if he had been hit by an ancient divine beast. His internal organs churned, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. His face instantly turned pale. Duan Chongkong was slapped to the ground by Ling Xiao's palm, and he no longer had any strength to resist. What? Everyone trembled, especially Dou Tianhe, Bian Yun, Chu Jian, Vajra Supremacy and the others. This was the first time they had seen Ling Xiao in action. They didn't expect him to be so direct and efficient as to send Duan Chongkong flying. It turned out that Chu Qianqian had really found a great expert. Brat, how dare you injure my prince? Die. Following behind Duan Chongkong were 2 burly men dressed in animal skins. At this moment, they were taken aback, and their eyes immediately revealed incomparably fierce expressions. Roar! Roar! The 2 burly men instantly roared, and the blood qi around them boiled. Black light surged, and 2 black tigers appeared behind them, exuding a monstrous ominous aura. They suddenly pounced towards Ling Xiao. The 2 black tigers looked lifelike, as if they were real. Their bodies exuded terrifying energy fluctuations. The celestial Laksana of the heavenly demonic tiger tribe? It's a pity that it's still too weak. Ling Xiao was slightly surprised. He didn't expect the heavenly demonic tiger tribe to exist in the reincarnation world. Boom. Ling Xiao threw out a punch, and a golden fist print swept across the sky, instantly slamming into the 2 black tigers. Suddenly, the tigers' bodies trembled violently, and then suddenly exploded. The 2 burly men from the heavenly demonic tiger tribe were also sent flying by Ling Xiao's punch. They slammed heavily into the walls of the 9-yin divine palace, and immediately coughed out large mouthfuls of blood. This brat is too arrogant. Let's go together and kill him. Dou Tianhe, Bian Yun, and the others' eyes were filled with killing intent. In an instant, they soared into the sky and charged towards Ling Xiao. Even Chuanluan Hong, who had just recovered from his injuries, and Chu Jian also attacked at the same time. Song Yu glanced at Chu Qianqian and in the end he gave up with a bitter smile. He knew that Ling Xiao was very strong, and even if Chu Jian and the others joined forces, they might not be Ling Xiao's match. Moreover, he didn't want to disappoint Chu Qianqian, so he chose to remain neutral in the end. Rumble. The void trembled, and a huge galaxy appeared behind Dou Tianhe. Countless stars swayed, containing vast and unparalleled power. A huge mountain appeared behind Bian Yin, as if it could crush the heavens and earth. It was extremely terrifying. Although they could only use the strength of their physical bodies, Dou Tianhe and Bian Yin also possessed supreme body refining super skills. Just the bloodline vision alone was extremely terrifying. Chuanluan Hong was unwilling to give up, and together with the 2 monks behind him, they attacked together. Radiance shone behind them, as if 3 angry Vajras had appeared in the void. The most terrifying one was Chu Jian. He threw out a punch, causing the void to tremble violently. The galaxy behind Dou Tianhe, the mountain behind Bian Yun, and the angry Vajras behind Chuanluan Hong began to tremble. Chu Jian looked divine and extraordinary. His body exuded a powerful aura, as if he was a peerless heavenly emperor, suppressing all his enemies. Chu Qianqian's heart was in her mouth unconsciously. Although she was confident in Ling Xiao, she also knew how strong Chu Jian's indestructible glass body was. It was a kind of unparalleled power. Good timing. Haha. Ling Xiao's eyes were incomparably sharp. These people were the peerless sky prides of the reincarnation great world. But in terms of physical strength, other than Chu Jian's indestructible glass body, none of them were worthy of Ling Xiao's attention. Boom. Ling Xiao threw out a punch, and a golden fist print exploded the galaxy behind Dou Tianhe. Instantly, the huge stars shattered, and Dou Tianhe staggered back as if he was struck by lightning. Ling Xiao, take my sword. Bian Yun roared, causing the surrounding heavens and earth to tremble. There was an ancient-looking heavy sword in his hand, and it slashed towards Ling Xiao. The sword's strength was unparalleled, as if it was an immemorial divine mountain, and it had the power to suppress everything. Bang! A sharp light flashed through Ling Xiao's eyes. He pointed a finger, and the sword qi that filled the sky exploded. The phenomenon of the ancient divine mountain also disappeared. Chapter 922. Boom. Ling Xiao's fingertips shone brightly and shot a ray of divine light onto the heavy sword. The heavy sword shook violently and slammed onto Bian Yun's chest. Crack. Bian Yun's chest caved in instantly and his sternum was broken. He spat out a mouthful of blood, and his eyes were filled with horror. Looks like you're still not convinced. Since you're not convinced, I'll beat you until you're convinced. Ling Xiao sneered and looked at Luan Zhonghong. He then threw a punch across the sky. Rumble. The punch contained a vast dragon power. The seven-colored divine dragon swept across the area and emitted a monstrous ferocious aura. It shattered the three King Kong celestial appearances in the void. Luan Zhonghong and the two monks were struck by lightning and were sent flying while coughing out blood. Luan Zhonghong regretted it the moment he attacked. He did not expect that with so many people besieging Ling Xiao, no one could take a hit from Ling Xiao. Duan Chongkong, Dou Tianhe, and Bian Yun were beaten up like dead dogs by Ling Xiao. They were severely injured with just one hit. Boom. Everyone was swept away by Ling Xiao, and the only one left standing in front of Ling Xiao was Chu Jian. However, no one noticed that King Kong's sovereign and the young man named John Doe had disappeared without a trace. Kill. Chu Jian roared and threw a punch at Ling Xiao. Even Chu Jian had a grave expression on his face when he saw how easily Ling Xiao had defeated the group of sky prides. He knew that even he would not be able to do it as easily as Ling Xiao when he was besieged by so many people. However, Chu Jian was extremely proud and conceited. Naturally, he would not admit defeat so easily. Boom. Chu Jian's body shone brightly like a crystal. He threw a punch and his fist print was unparalleled. It contained a sense of eternity. Good. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed and he threw a punch as well. Crack. The two fists collided and a bright divine light burst out. Streaks of blazing lightning intertwined. Ling Xiao felt that Chu Jian's fist print was extremely terrifying. It seemed to contain a heavy fist force that wanted to send Ling Xiao flying. However, Ling Xiao's figure only swayed a little before he stood still. On the other hand, Chu Jian retreated over a dozen steps. Every step was like the beating of a heavenly drum, emitting a loud rumbling sound. Hiss! Chu Qianqian and Song Yu looked at each other and sucked in a breath of cold air. Between Ling Xiao and Chu Jian, they were more inclined to side with Chu Jian. After all, Chu Jian's indestructible glass body was a supreme divine skill, and it was famous in the entire reincarnation world. However, they did not expect Ling Xiao's physical body to be even more terrifying than Chu Jian's. Duan Chongkong, Dou Tianhe, Bian Yun, Chuan Luanhong, and the others' faces turned ghastly pale. Their eyes were filled with shock. Where did this freak Ling Xiao come from? He did not seem to have any cultivation, but his physical body was terrifying. Even Chu Jian's colored glaze immortal body could not compare to Ling Xiao's physical body. How is this possible? Chu Jian's eyes were filled with shock and his face turned gloomy. He was used to being arrogant and conceited. Among his peers, there were not many who had a stronger physical body than him. However, he did not expect that a young man who came out of nowhere had a stronger physical body than him. This was hard for him to accept. Colored glaze flame palm, fire dragon kill. Chu Jian roared and a cold killing intent flashed in his eyes. He slapped his palm towards Ling Xiao. The glaze light around him instantly turned into glaze flames. They intertwined and turned into a huge fire dragon. It wrapped around his palm and blasted towards Ling Xiao. This was the supreme skill of the colored glaze immortal body. The colored glaze flame could even burn down a sovereign weapon. It was extremely terrifying. Colored glaze flame? Interesting. However, it's still not enough. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he said flatly, boom. He threw out a punch and displayed the power of the 1,000 dragons slaughtering god art. His fist print was peerless and condensed into a 7-colored divine dragon. It flew across the sky and suppressed Chu Jian. If Chu Jian's colored glaze immortal body was cultivated to the complete realm, he might be able to fight Ling Xiao. However, the colored glaze immortal body was no match for Ling Xiao's true dragon body. Block it! Chu Jian bellowed, his expression becoming somewhat ferocious. However, the 7-colored divine dragon formed by the 1,000 dragons slaughtering god art was unparalleled. It contained an indestructible power, and instantly smashed the colored glaze flame palm. Rumble! The 7-colored divine dragon viciously slammed into Chu Jian, immediately causing him to tremble violently, as if he had been struck by lightning. He suddenly vomited a mouthful of blood as his presence became extremely withered. You've lost, Ling Xiao said flatly. His voice was extremely calm. Chu Jian's face turned pale, and he spat out another mouthful of blood. In the Nineteen Palace, Ling Xiao stood with his hands behind his back. His eyes were calm and his body exuded an ethereal aura. As for those who had attacked him, they were all lying on the ground. Each and every one of them was seriously injured, and their faces were filled with incomparable terror. Now these 3 treasures belong to me. Do you have any objections? Ling Xiao's gaze swept across Duan Changkong, Dou Tianhe, Bianyun, Chuan Luanhong and Chu Jian. Although his gaze was calm, it sent chills down their spines. If there were any objections, Ling Xiao might really kill them. I have no objections. Duan Changkong, Dou Tianhe, Bianyun and Chuan Luanhong said with a wry smile. What about you? Ling Xiao looked at Chu Jian and said, no objections. Chu Jian's face was ghastly and he hated Ling Xiao to the core. However, he still lowered his head and said, the 9 great sword masters entered the 9 Yin secret realm to obtain the supreme 9 Yin's inheritance. However, they did not expect that all the treasures would end up in Ling Xiao's hands. Chu Qianqian's face revealed a tinge of happiness and complexity. She was naturally happy that Ling Xiao had obtained the torch dragon heavenly pearl. However, Ling Xiao's strength shocked and puzzled her. The Ling Xiao in front of her made her more and more curious. What kind of person was he? All right. Since none of you have any objections, these 3 treasures belong to me, Ling Xiao said plainly. Rumble. At this moment, the 9 Yin palace suddenly began to tremble. Rays of dazzling light filled the air like divine chains intertwining with each other. It exuded a deadly murderous aura. This was the power of a formation. It contained a majestic and ancient divine Tao order. It was mysterious and unfathomable. Ling Xiao, Chu Qianqian, Chu Jian and the rest were instantly trapped in the 9 Yin palace. Ha! You bunch of thieves. Those 3 treasures are mine. Everything is mine. Today, all of you will die. A cold voice exploded in the entire 9 Yin divine palace, causing everyone's expression to change drastically. You are nameless? Chapter 923. In the 9 Yin palace, the light was dazzling. Divine chains of order intertwined to form a terrifying divine Tao formation. It contained an extremely cold murderous intent, and shrouded Ling Xiao and the others. Everyone's expression changed drastically. Their eyes were filled with unsightly looks. Especially those who held the 9 Yin sword. Chu Qianqian, Chu Jian, Songyu, Duan Changkong, Du Tianhe, Bianyun, and Zhuan Luanhong were all imprisoned by a strange power. They could not move at all. Although Ling Xiao was not imprisoned, he was locked by the murderous intent in the divine Tao formation. It was as if he would be killed at any time. In front of everyone, two familiar figures appeared. Supreme Warrior and the arrogant young man named John Doe. It was Wu Ming who had said those words earlier. Supreme Warrior, John Doe, what are you trying to do? Let us go. Otherwise, you will all die. Your parents and relatives won't be able to live. Zhuan Luanhong's eyes were filled with horror as he roared. Ha! What am I trying to do? Of course, I want to kill all of you. As long as I kill all of you, everything here will be mine. John Doe laughed as his eyes were filled with cold murderous intent. Do you know who young Master John Doe is? He is the descendant of Supreme Nine Yin. He is the most qualified person to inherit Supreme Nine Yin's legacy. Who do you think you are? How dare you compete with young Master John Doe? Vajra Supreme also sneered. His eyes were full of flattery as he looked at Nameless. Descendant of Supreme Nine Yin? That's impossible. Supreme Nine Yin's descendants are all dead. Chu Jian said coldly. His eyes were filled with shock. Ling Zhao's eyes flickered as he looked at Supreme Warrior and John Doe indifferently. He did not say anything. Dead. Haha. All the kings of the 10 halls should die. The 9 Nether Empire should also be destroyed. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, Supreme Nine Yin ascended to the divine realm. In order to obtain Supreme Nine Yin's legacy, you killed my Nine Yin tribe. This hatred is absolutely irreconcilable. Today, I will let you kings of the 10 halls pay some interest first. One day, I will destroy the kings of the 10 halls and the 9 Nether Empire. John Doe's eyes were filled with a ferocious look, filled with monstrous hatred. Humph. The 9 Yin giant corpse tribe was ambitious. You wanted to use the Supreme Nine Yin's influence to unify the reincarnation great world. Unfortunately, you were not strong enough. Of course, you deserve to die. What I'm curious about is, who are you? How could he still be alive? Although Chu Jian's face was pale, he still asked unwillingly. Fine. I, Nameless Nine Yin, am the great-great-grandson of Supreme Nine Yin. Several 100,000 years ago, my Nine Yin tribe was annihilated, but I was sealed for several 100,000 years. Several 100 years ago, I broke out of the seal. At that time, I swore that I would avenge the 9 Yin giant corpse tribe for the rest of my life. I would kill all of you. The killing intent in Nameless voice soared to the sky, causing everyone to tremble uncontrollably. As for the 9 Nine Yin swords, they are the child swords, and the 9 Yin divine sword is the mother sword. Only when the 9 Nine Yin swords are gathered can one sense the location of the 9 Yin divine sword and open the 9 Yin secret realm. The 9 Yin swords were lost in the battle several 100,000 years ago. I have waited bitterly for several 100 years. Finally, the 9 sword masters are gathered, all for the sake of opening the 9 Yin secret realm and taking back the ancestors' inheritance. Nameless words caused everyone to tremble. They did not expect that the 9 Yin swords would open the 9 Yin secret realm, but it was completely used by Nameless to set up such a killing trap. Then, how did you control the array here? Chu Qianqian's face was pale as she asked coldly. The 9 Yin secret realm was originally something left to my 9 Yin giant corpse tribe by my ancestor. How could it be something that you can touch? Only the bloodline of my 9 Yin giant corpse tribe can control the array in the 9 Yin divine palace. Moreover, the 9 Yin swords are tainted with your aura, so it is easier for me to control them. Therefore, I am the master of this place, and all of you must die. Nameless eyes were filled with a cold sneer. Everyone's eyes revealed a trace of despair. This divine array looked extremely terrifying. Moreover, they were imprisoned. No matter if it was the primordial spirit, physical body, or divine power, there was no way for them to use. Many of their trump cards were also useless. Could it be that they were really going to die here? Chu Qianqian's face was also pale. She could not help but glance at Ling Xiao. She found that Ling Xiao's expression was very calm. Could it be that Ling Xiao had a way to escape? Although she knew that it was almost impossible, she could not help but hope that Ling Xiao could create a miracle. Let us go. We don't want the Supreme Nine Yin's inheritance anymore. Moreover, we can swear to the heavenly Tao that we will never trouble you again. Chakravarti Hong's face was pale, and his eyes were filled with incomparable fear. Childish. Nameless sneered and said, a blood debt can only be repaid with blood. Your death is just the beginning. When I reach the divine realm, whether it is the 10 kings or the 9 Nether Emperor, they will all go to hell to accompany you. That day is not far away. Nameless body exuded a cold murderous intent. As if sensing his murderous intent, the formation in the Nineteen Palace began to tremble slightly. I forgot to tell you that you don't have to struggle. This is the divine Tying formation. It is a killing formation formed by the power of Tying. Even a titled Supreme will die. Wu Ming sneered, as if everything was under his control. There's one thing that I don't understand. I'm afraid that you don't understand it either. Ling Xiao suddenly spoke up and glanced at Wu Ming indifferently. What is it? Nameless glanced at Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao was the one that he could not see through the most. Ling Xiao's strength was incomparably terrifying. He actually defeated the group of heroes and suppressed everyone. If it were not for the divine Tying formation, Nameless was not confident that he could deal with Ling Xiao. Don't you wonder why there is a forbidden god territory in the Nineteen Mystery Realm? And why would the Nineteen Sword owner be controlled by the divine Tying formation in the end? Ling Xiao looked at Nameless indifferently with a hint of mockery in his eyes. What are you trying to say? Nameless' expression changed slightly as he looked at Ling Xiao and asked. In fact, he had also been puzzled by the 2 questions that Ling Xiao had raised. However, in the end, he concluded that they were left behind by the Supreme Nineteen Giant Corpse tribe in order to help the descendants of the Supreme Nineteen Giant Corpse tribe obtain the Supreme Nineteen Giant Corpse tribe's inheritance. I want to say that you are really stupid. Can't you see that this is not the place of the Supreme Nine Yin's inheritance, but a trap set by the Supreme Nine Yin to choose a person to possess? Not only are we the prey of the Supreme Nine Yin, but you are also the prey of the Supreme Nine Yin. Ling Xiao smiled faintly as a bright light flickered in his eyes. Chapter 924. What? Ling Xiao's words made Wu Ming's expression change drastically. Even everyone's eyes were filled with disbelief and fear. Ling Xiao's words made everyone shudder. Supreme Nine Yin's prey? Could it be that Supreme Nine Yin was still alive? The path of heaven was cut off, and the gate to the god realm was closed. No one could become a god in 1,000,000 years. How could Supreme Nine Yin ascend to the god realm? So he didn't go to the god realm at all. Instead, he hid here and struggled at death's door. What a joke. Supreme Nine Yin's great-great-grandson Wu Ming was also used by him. Ling Xiao sneered. When Ling Xiao entered the Nine Yin Divine Palace, he felt that something was wrong. It was as if he was being spied on by someone. Although Ling Xiao's primordial spirit was silent, the existence of the wordless heavenly book made Ling Xiao's senses extremely sharp. It made him suspect that there might be a powerful existence in the Nine Yin Divine Palace. With the lesson of Xiantianshan in the Flowing Time Temple, Ling Xiao naturally thought of Supreme Nine Yin. Because Ling Xiao was sure that Supreme Nine Yin definitely didn't enter the god realm, but he left behind a small world. He also spent a lot of effort to create the god-forbidding domain, Nine Yin Divine Palace, Nine Yin Sword Master. Everything seemed to be looking for an inheritor, but Ling Xiao always suspected that there might be some conspiracy. It was not until John Doe activated the Tying Divine Formation that Ling Xiao finally found a powerful primordial spirit in the core of the formation, through the wordless heavenly book. It was that primordial spirit that was spying on Ling Xiao and everyone else. The identity of this primordial spirit must be Supreme Nine Yin. Impossible. Ling Xiao, don't talk nonsense. Ancestor has already ascended to the god realm. This is the place of inheritance that he left for my Nine Yin Divine Palace. Ling Xiao, I'll kill you. John Doe's eyes were full of panic, and in an instant, they became extremely ferocious. His heart was filled with panic. He didn't know why, but he suddenly felt that Ling Xiao's words made sense. Deep in his heart, he was unwilling to believe it. Boom. The divine Great Yin formation emitted an extremely terrifying aura. In an instant, rays of black destructive divine light intertwined and blasted toward Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao, be careful. Chu Qianqian's eyes were filled with anxiety as she hurriedly shouted. Rumble. Ling Xiao's eyes shone with dazzling light, and golden light swirled around him. At the same time, the King Heaven Devourer cauldron appeared above his head. Ancient and mysterious, pulsing with the power of devouring. The destructive godlight slammed into the King Heaven Devourer cauldron, causing it to tremble violently. Ling Xiao stood beneath the King Heaven Devourer cauldron, his expression as calm as ever, his eyes flickering with a hint of derision. Not only was the King Heaven Devourer cauldron capable of devouring heaven and earth, it was also immensely powerful. Not even a titled paragon would be able to break through it. Although the formation was strong, it couldn't break through the defenses of the King Heaven Devourer cauldron. What? This is impossible. John Doe's eyes were filled with disbelief, and he instantly turned pale. Supreme Ninth Yin, you'd better come out. Isn't this the result you wanted? Ling Xiao said indifferently as he stared at a certain spot in the void. That was the core of the Divine Tine formation. It was also where the mysterious primordial spirit was hiding. Everyone's expressions flickered, and their hearts began to pound. Could it be that Ling Xiao was right? Was Paragon 9 still alive? Well done, kid. I'm getting more and more interested in you. How did you find me? An aged voice exploded in the void like a clap of thunder, causing everyone to feel dizzy. The entire 9 Divine Palace was buzzing and trembling. Whiz! A dazzling figure appeared in the air above the Divine Tine formation, pulsing with an aura that caused everyone to tremble. It was an old man in a black robe, with a dignified expression and piercing eyes. He was tall and burly, so tall that he seemed capable of holding up heaven and earth. He radiated an aura of invincibility. He stood there with his hands clasped behind his back, and his forehead glowed with a dazzling light that made it difficult for anyone to open their eyes. At this moment, he was looking at Ling Xiao with interest, and a trace of passion flashed in his eyes. So you're a half-god spirit with godhood? Ling Xiao's eyes glinted as he recognized the crystal in the black-robed old man's forehead. It was the godhood. With the gate of the god realm closed, it was impossible to become a god in the human world. Supremes could only live for more than 10,000 years. Other than that, they had to refine godhood to become a half-god spirit. After refining godhood, one's lifespan would be extremely long, almost immortal. It was an irresistible temptation for many. The Supreme 9 in front of him was a half-god spirit who had refined godhood. Ling Xiao also noticed that there were layers of red energy radiance around the Supreme 9 Yin's body, exuding a terrifying power. He's really the Supreme 9 Yin. Everyone was stunned. The powerful fluctuation of the primordial spirit was terrifying, as though it could shatter the heavens. It made everyone believe that the old man was the Supreme 9 Yin. Chu Qianqian and Chu Jian sensed an aura similar to King Chujiang's from the old man, which meant that the old man was definitely a god spirit expert. Everyone's face turned paler and paler. You're really great-grandfather? Wu Ming's eyes were filled with disbelief as he asked in a trembling voice. Although Wu Ming was the great-great-grandson of the Supreme 9 Yin, the Supreme 9 Yin was no longer around when he was born. All he saw was the statue and portrait of the Supreme 9 Yin. However, the old man in front of him looked exactly the same as the statue of the Supreme 9 Yin. Didn't the Supreme 9 Yin ascend to the god realm? Why was he here? And he was only in the primordial spirit state? Wu Ming couldn't accept it for a moment, especially when he thought of Ling Xiao's words. His heart sank. My great-great-great-grandson, if you didn't bring these people here, I don't know how long I would have to wait. I didn't expect that hundreds of thousands of years had passed. The Supreme 9 Yin's eyes revealed a hint of vicissitudes, which meant that he agreed with Wu Ming's words. What makes me curious is, since you've refined godhood and become a half-god spirit, why didn't you go out to possess or form a new body even if your physical body was destroyed? Could it be that you have some restrictions and can't leave this place? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he asked with interest. Chapter 925. Ling Xiao's words caused a sharp glint to appear in Supreme 9 Yin's eyes. I didn't expect you to know about the hellfire. Kid, I'm getting more and more interested in you. You don't seem to have any cultivation, but your body is extremely strong. It's comparable to the legendary ancient divine beasts. If I take over your body, I'm afraid I'll be able to get rid of my hellfire and leave this damned place. Supreme Nine Yin's eyes shone with undisguised passion as he stared at Ling Xiao. Take over my body. I'm afraid you're not worthy. Ling Xiao said indifferently with a cold glint in his eyes. With the wordless heavenly book, Ling Xiao was the least afraid of being taken over. If anyone wanted to kill Ling Xiao, they would have to destroy his body, and then kill his primordial spirit. It was almost impossible to take over his body, not to mention a half-step divine spirit. Even a true divine spirit might not be able to do it. I remember now. There's another saying. Supreme Nine Yin didn't ascend to the divine realm hundreds of thousands of years ago. In order to ascend to the divine realm, Supreme Nine Yin didn't hesitate to kill millions of lives to cultivate an evil technique. In the end, he died from the hellfire. Chu Qianqian suddenly exclaimed. Everyone's eyes widened in shock. Combined with what Ling Xiao had just said, could it be that this was the truth? Many people were willing to believe that Supreme Nine Yin had ascended to the divine realm. They weren't willing to associate him with a great demon who killed countless people. However, everyone suddenly realized that Supreme Nine Yin might really be a great demon. You're right. To be exact, in order to cultivate the great Yin blood god flags, I killed a total of 398 million lives. There were humans, demons, barbarians, demons, and so on. That time, I killed so many that the sun and moon of the reincarnation world lost their light. Unfortunately, the 9 Nether Empire and the 10 Palace Kings were a bunch of cowards. They closed their doors and didn't even dare to take revenge on me. However, I didn't expect that group of despicable people would destroy my 9 giant corpse tribe after I sealed myself. Supreme Nine Yin said indifferently. However, although his voice was very soft, it made everyone tremble with fear. Their eyes were filled with incomparable horror. 398 billion living beings. In order to cultivate the evil technique, the Supreme Nine Yin had actually killed countless people, causing everyone to tremble from head to toe. Although these people had also killed people before, they had never thought that someone would actually kill for the sake of killing. This was the real killing spree. This was the real devil. It was very difficult for everyone to connect that great demon with the Supreme Nine Yin in front of them. In that case, the karmic fire in your body was caused by you killing countless people. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he asked indifferently. Not bad. Supreme Nine Yin smiled faintly, not hiding anything. The heavenly road has been severed, and the gates to the God realm have been closed. Although I've refined the Godhead, I didn't want my future to be cut off just like that. I found an ancient art, and used the blood essence of 3 billion living beings to form the Tai Yin blood god banner. I wanted to open the gate to the celestial world, and ascend to the celestial world. Unfortunately, I failed at the last step. Not only was my physical body destroyed, but my primordial spirit was also contaminated by the karmic fire. If I hadn't suppressed it with supreme methods and set up this Tai Yin divine formation, I'm afraid I would have died. Ordinary people can't withstand the karmic fire at all. They need an invincible physical body, an invincible belief to allow me to possess them, and provide me with a new physical body. Supreme Nine Yin's voice was full of sighs, as if he was chatting with an old friend. He was very casual. However, everyone was trembling with fear when they heard this. It turned out that the so-called God-sealing domain was really a trap left behind by Supreme Nine Yin in order to choose an invincible physical body for him to possess. So, you left behind the God-sealing domain and the legend of the Nine Yin Sword Master in order to choose a powerful physical body. Ling Xiao said slowly. That's right. Originally, my great-great-grandson should have had a good physical body, but I didn't expect you to appear. You've really given me a big surprise. I've never seen someone with a physical body as powerful as yours. Could it be that you really want to walk the path of becoming a god with your physical body like the ancient gods and demons? Supreme Nine Yin looked at Ling Xiao and sighed softly. Becoming a god with my physical body, is it possible? Ling Xiao said slowly, as if he was asking Supreme Nine Yin, but also as if he was talking to himself. Nothing is impossible. The ancient gods and demons didn't rely on the laws of heaven and earth, and didn't rely on the spiritual chi of heaven. With their own divine power, they had the invincible power to break through heaven and earth and break through the chaos. There was even no lack of saints with their physical bodies, and their power was monstrous. Although the door to the god realm is closed, if you can really become a god with your physical body, there might be hope for you to tear open the door to the god realm and become a god with your physical body. Supreme Nine looked at Ling Xiao as if he was looking at a peerless treasure. Becoming a god with my physical body, or even becoming a saint with my physical body? Ling Xiao's eyes revealed an incomparable yearning. Unfortunately, I've waited for hundreds of thousands of years, so I can only possess you. Supreme Nine said with a smile. Possess me? I'm afraid you'll regret it. Ling Xiao said seriously. Your physical body is indeed very strong, and you should have the bloodline of the legendary divine dragon. However, as long as you haven't become a god, you won't be able to resist my possession. Supreme Nine said confidently. You're really confident. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a strange look. Supreme Nine probably didn't know about the wordless heavenly book. Now tell me what you want, and I'll try my best to satisfy you. Supreme Nine said with a smile. His tone was very relaxed, as if the subsequent possession was a very casual matter. Everyone was shocked, and their gazes towards Ling Xiao became filled with schadenfreude. Supreme Nine had chosen Ling Xiao to possess, and this made them all heave a sigh of relief. Ling Xiao, let's see if you can survive this time. Chuan Luanhong was the one who hated Ling Xiao the most, and his eyes were filled with coldness at this moment. How foolish! Could it be that you think that Supreme Nine will let all of you go after possessing my body? Ling Xiao also noticed the expressions of the crowd and shook his head as he spoke. Ling Xiao. Chu Qianqian trembled slightly, and her face became extremely pale. Her eyes were filled with anxiety. In the distance, Wu Ming stood in the same place, and his eyes revealed a trace of incomparable confusion. He had just heard from Supreme Nine that Supreme Nine intended to possess him, but he gave up because he had a better choice. He had carried a blood feud for hundreds of thousands of years, but in the end he realized that it was just a joke. Wu Ming's heart was instantly filled with sorrow and despair. Don't worry, I'm fine. Chapter 926. Senior Nine, if you take over Ling Xiao's body, can you let us go? We can swear an oath to the heavenly Tao that we will never reveal what happened today. You can even choose to erase our memories. Chu Jian said as he looked at Supreme Nine tentatively. This was what everyone was most worried about. Everyone was naturally happy that Supreme Nine chose to take over Ling Xiao's body. But they were also worried that Supreme Nine would kill them directly. Let you go? What do you think? Supreme Nine said with a smile that was not a smile. Senior Nine, I know you are powerful, but if so many of us die here at the same time, the 10 Hall Kings will definitely suspect that you can't deal with the 10 Hall Kings since you have just taken over their bodies, right? I hope you can reconsider. Chu Jian's expression was a little ugly, but he still tried his best to say, 10 Hall Kings? What's that? Supreme Nine said indifferently, Don't worry. I won't let you feel pain. In order to repay you for freeing me, I will let you merge into the Tien blood god flags and conquer the world with me in the future. Supreme Nine lips curled into a sinister smile. Everyone couldn't help but shudder, and they instantly fell into despair. Although they didn't know what the Tien blood god flags were, they were terrified when they thought of the treasure that Supreme Nine didn't hesitate to kill 3 billion lives to refine. Buzz. A light flashed in Supreme Nine's hand, and Nameless and Supreme Vajra flew toward the Tien divine formation. Divine chains of order swept across the sky and imprisoned the two of them. My good great-grandson, don't cry. When I take over Ling Xiao's body, I will let you go. At that time, we will join forces and sweep away the 9 Nether Empire and the 10 Hall Kings, reviving my 9 giant corpse tribe. At that time, I will find 10,000 wives for you, and the heavy responsibility of reproducing my 9 giant corpse tribe will fall on your shoulders. Supreme Nine said to Nameless with a smile. Nameless trembled, but he still lowered his head and said respectfully, Yes, Ancestor. Rumble. Under the control of Supreme Nine, the divine Tien formation shone brightly. Streaks of black mist rose up and enveloped everyone. Supreme Nine walked towards Ling Xiao. Brat, be obedient and become one with me. I will take you with me to the peak, sweep through the heavens, and step into the God realm. Supreme Nine Yin's eyes lit up, and he instantly pointed at the space between Ling Xiao's eyebrows. I told you you'll regret it, Ling Xiao said calmly without any resistance. Whoosh. At this moment, Supreme Nine Yin's primordial spirit had already turned into a stream of light, instantly merging into Ling Xiao's consciousness. However, Supreme Nine Yin was also very cunning and cautious. Only half of his primordial spirit rushed into Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness, leaving the other half and the Godhead outside. Rumble. The primordial spirit of Supreme Nine Yin was emitting a monstrous murderous aura. It appeared in Ling Xiao's mind like a peerless demon god. Within Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness, Ling Xiao's soul had already become extremely dim. Various colored lights intertwined around him, giving off an obscure and mysterious presence. The wordless heavenly book floated in Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness, looking very calm. You're at the second level of the supreme stage. Yet you're still alive after suffering such serious injuries? Looks like you really have a big secret. However, after I devour your primordial spirit, your secret will naturally not be a secret anymore. Supreme Nine Yin smiled faintly and instantly pounced towards Ling Xiao's primordial spirit. Boom. At this moment, the wordless heavenly book suddenly moved. A vast and majestic presence spread out, and the wordless heavenly book instantly shone brightly, filling the air with 9-colored divine light. Divine chains of order intertwined, and mysterious runes flickered on them, as if they were describing the mysteries of heaven and earth. Supreme Nine Yin's expression changed drastically. Facing the wordless heavenly book, he actually felt like an ant looking up at a divine dragon. He couldn't block it at all. Supreme Nine Yin didn't even think, and wanted to escape from Ling Xiao's glabella. Since you're here, then stay. Ling Xiao's voice was calm and indifferent as it reverberated in his sea of consciousness. Rumble. The wordless heavenly book was extremely fast. Divine chains of order swept across the sky and instantly swept up Supreme Nine Yin's primordial spirit, pulling it towards the wordless heavenly book. What kind of treasure is this? This is a divine artifact. No, this is even more powerful than a divine artifact. Who exactly are you? Supreme Nine Yin was completely terrified. The power of the wordless heavenly book was 100 times, 1,000 times more terrifying than any divine artifact he had ever seen. He couldn't imagine that there was actually such a terrifying treasure. At the same time, Supreme Nine Yin activated the other half of his primordial spirit's power, and instantly unleashed the power of the Godhead, charging towards Ling Xiao. As long as he could kill Ling Xiao first, this treasure would naturally become an ownerless item. At this moment, Supreme Nine Yin no longer thought about taking over Ling Xiao's body. Saving his own life was more important. He finally knew why Ling Xiao was so calm. It turned out that he had such a treasure. Supreme Nine Yin was also glad that he was more cautious and only used half of his primordial spirit's power to take over Ling Xiao's body. Otherwise, he would have really failed miserably today. It's useless, Ling Xiao said indifferently. The wordless heavenly book instantly rushed out from between Ling Xiao's eyebrows and turned into a dazzling vortex. It instantly imprisoned the other half of Supreme Nine Yin's primordial spirit, and even the Godhead. Ling Xiao chatted with Supreme Nine Yin earlier. Firstly, it was to understand some things from Supreme Nine Yin. Secondly, it was to stall for time. The power of the wordless heavenly book was very strong, but Ling Xiao wanted to achieve a one-hit kill. Therefore, he didn't hesitate to aggravate his injuries and forcefully use a trace of his primordial spirit's power to launch a fatal attack towards Supreme Nine Yin. Boom! The wordless heavenly book floated above the void, and turned into an extremely terrifying devouring vortex. Divine chains of order intertwined and swept up Supreme Nine Yin's primordial spirit and Godhead, wanting to completely refine and devour them. This is impossible. Brat, how can I lose to you? Great Yin Blood God Flag kill. Supreme Nine Yin roared loudly. A blood-red flag instantly flew up from his primordial spirit, emitting a monstrous blood aura. It was as if heaven and earth had turned into a vast river of blood. This was the Great Een blood god flag that Supreme Nine Een had refined after killing 3 billion living beings. It was a supreme divine technique, and also a peerless treasure that possessed extremely terrifying power. Boom! The Great Een blood god flag suddenly collided with the wordless heavenly book, causing it to tremble violently. Ling Xiao couldn't help but groan. A trace of blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth, and his face turned pale. Chapter 927. Roar! The Great Een blood god banners unfurled like a blood-colored river, filling heaven and earth. At the same time, the wailing of ghosts and the howling of wolves echoed out as millions upon millions of blood-colored gods shot out from the banners to crush Ling Xiao's nascent divinity. However, the wordless heavenly sutra shone with scintillating light, sending out chains of god order that pulse with the power of magical laws to bind the Great Een blood god banners. Apparently, the wordless heavenly sutra was interested in the banners, and began to suppress them. Ruiyuumble. Heaven and earth trembled as dazzling godlight shone out. The wordless heavenly sutra emanated a mysterious aura, as the chains of god order wrapped around Paragon 9 Yin's nascent divinity, and began to consume it. The Great Een blood god banners contained incomparably pure blood energy quintessence, and in the blink of an eye, it took the shape of an enormous blood-colored dragon. It was completely enigmatic, as though it were wreathed in flames and had eyes that seemed to contain suns and moons. This was none other than the legendary Torch Dragon, a god beast created by Paragon 9 Yin's Great Een blood god banners, and its aura was terrifying to the extreme. Facing a blood-red dragon, Ling Xiao's body trembled. His blood began to boil, and he actually felt a strong desire. Rumble! Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he summoned the King Heaven Devourer Cauldron. A 7-colored dragon appeared, swirling around the cauldron as it lunged toward the blood-colored Torch Dragon. Under the combined pressure of the wordless heavenly sutra and the King Heaven Devourer Cauldron, Paragon 9 Een felt his nascent divinity slipping away. He couldn't even summon the Great Een blood god banners or his godhood. Let me go, brat. I promise I won't try to possess you again. If you don't, I'll activate the power of my godhood and self-detonate. If that happens, both of us will die. Even Paragon 9 Yin's voice was laced with a hint of panic. At Paragon 9 Yin's level, the longer he lived, the more he feared death. Although he had seemed completely confident earlier, that was only because he believed everything was under his control. Now he realized that not only was he unable to possess Ling Xiao's body, but he even felt like he was about to be killed by Ling Xiao. He immediately began to panic. Self-detonation? Unfortunately, you can't do it. Ling Xiao smiled faintly as a sharp light appeared in his eyes. Under his full power, the wordless heavenly book seemed to form an extremely terrifying chaotic world. It began to furiously devour the sovereign of 9 Yin's soul, and the power of the Godhead. And the connection between the Supreme 9 Een and the Godhead was actually starting to weaken. Rumble. Ling Xiao sat cross-legged in the divine shadow matrix. Around him, black light surged and clouds rose. The power of the divine shadow matrix exploded, as if it wanted to crush Ling Xiao into dust. Thankfully, Ling Xiao was protected by the wordless heavenly tome and the King Heaven Devourer Cauldron. Bastard! Brat, even if I become a ghost, I won't let you go. Supremacy 9 Yin's eyes revealed an incomparably venomous expression. He had never thought that the connection between his primordial spirit and Godhead would be severed by Ling Xiao. His character was also incomparably decisive. Seeing that he was about to be forcefully refined by Ling Xiao, he might as well directly activate the last trace of his Yuan spirit and self-destruct. Boom! The primordial spirit of the Supreme 9 Een was directly blown into nothingness. However, the terrifying destructive divine light was completely devoured and refined by the wordless heavenly tome. In front of Ling Xiao, only the divine shadow blood god flag and the Godhead were left. Without the obstruction of the Supreme 9 Een, the tiny blood god flag instantly turned into a majestic essence of qi and blood that fused into Ling Xiao's body. The Godhead was also devoured by the wordless heavenly tome, and turned into a majestic primordial spirit essence that fused into Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness. Rumble! Ling Xiao's body was surrounded by golden light and lightning. In his body, streaks of blood like dragons began to madly fuse with the power of the divine shadow blood god flag. A hint of understanding flashed in Ling Xiao's heart. The divine shadow blood god flag was condensed by the torch dragon bloodline of the Supreme Nine Yin. It contained a certain divine ability of the torch dragon, and was extremely powerful. Ling Xiao refining the divine shadow blood god flag was equivalent to refining the torch dragon bloodline. A bright light exploded and an ancient and mysterious aura filled Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness. Ling Xiao seemed to see a blood-red dragon in the vast chaos. It was a few million miles long, and was surrounded by endless flames. Every time it breathed, it would cause countless worlds in the chaos to explode and be reborn. When it opened its eyes, the world fell into eternal light. When it closed its eyes, endless darkness shrouded the chaos. This was the torch dragon, the primordial torch dragon. According to legend, it controlled darkness and light. It dominated the destruction and rebirth of the world, and was a great existence that could compete with the primordial ancestor dragon. As Ling Xiao refined the torch dragon bloodline, he comprehended the ancient memories contained in the bloodline, and fell into a mysterious state. Due to the death of the Supreme Nine Yin, the divine light in the divine shadow formation was blazing and dazzling. Other than the 9 great sword masters, everyone else was completely turned into ashes. The 9 great sword masters' faces changed drastically. Looking at the destructive divine light storm in front of them, their eyes were filled with shock. They did not know what had happened. John Doe, are you still not thinking of a way at this time? If the Supreme Nine Yin completes the possession, you won't be able to survive. Don't think that he will let you go just because you are his great-great-grandson. He kills without batting an eye. Why would he care about you? Chu Jian's eyes were filled with anxiety as he looked at John Doe. That's right, John Doe. Quickly think of a way to break the divine shadow formation. Otherwise we will all die. John Doe, as long as you can save us, we will give you whatever you want. Zhuan Luanhong, Duan Changkong, and the others quickly said. This time, they originally wanted to obtain the Supreme Nine Yin's inheritance. They did not expect to fall into a trap one after another. Although they hated John Doe to the extreme, they were counting on him to break the divine shadow formation. Therefore, they suppressed the killing intent in their hearts. Ha ha ha. You want me to help you? Dream on. The ancestor has taken over Ling Xiao. When the time comes, he will definitely dominate the world. I will follow the ancestor and become the ruler of the reincarnation world. Why would I care about your little benefits? Just wait for your deaths. John Doe said with a cold smile. He naturally did not believe the group in front of him. Although the Supreme Nine Yin had killed many people, he was still John Doe's great-grandfather. At the very least, he was more reliable than the group in front of him. Bastard! Everyone cursed angrily, but there was nothing they could do. I wonder how Ling Xiao is doing. Ling Xiao, you must hang in there. Chu Qianqian's eyes revealed a trace of worry. My good sister, don't worry. Ling Xiao will definitely die. He must have been taken over by the Supreme Nine Yin. I just didn't expect that Chu Jian, would die here. I can't accept this. Chu Jian sneered. His eyes were filled with an extremely unreconciled expression. Chapter 928. The 9 great sword masters were imprisoned by the divine Yin formation. Originally, the 9 of them thought that Ling Xiao would definitely die this time. After Supreme Nine Yin took over Ling Xiao's body, it would be their time of death. However, at this moment, the divine Yin formation shone brightly. Black light filled the air, and an ominous aura filled the air. The entire divine Yin formation seemed like it would explode at any time. As for the 9 great sword masters, the power of imprisonment actually began to weaken. What's going on? Chu Jian cried out in surprise. His eyes revealed a look of incomparable joy. Could it be that Ling Xiao killed Supreme Nine Yin? Chu Qianqian exclaimed as though she had thought of a possibility. That's impossible. Supreme Nine Yin is a divine spirit expert. How could Ling Xiao kill him? Chuan Luanhong sneered. Ling Xiao said that Supreme Nine Yin was in charge of the divine Yin formation. Now that the power of the divine Yin formation has weakened, it's obvious that no one is in charge of the divine Yin formation. Perhaps Supreme Nine Yin was really killed by Ling Xiao. Song Yu said in surprise. Fools. Wu Ming sneered and said, you are all delusional. Ling Xiao must be dead. As for the weakening power of the divine Yin formation, it must be because my great-grandfather is in the process of taking over Ling Xiao's body. He has no time to continue controlling the divine Yin formation. What John Doe said was also a possibility, and it was a very high possibility. Everyone, let's break the divine Yin formation together. It doesn't matter if Supreme Nine Yin has taken over Ling Xiao's body. As long as we escape and spread the news, Ling Xiao will definitely die when the 10 kings arrive. Chu Jian's eyes flashed with a hint of panic. The divine Yin formation's power was weakening, and they could see the hope of escaping. All right. Let's attack together. Duan Chongkong, Du Tianhe, Bian Yun and the rest responded. Rumble. Other than John Doe and Vajra supremacy, the other 7 all made their moves. They used their powerful physical strength to attack the divine shadow formation. The divine Tine formation was an ancient divine formation. Originally, they had no way of breaking it. However, as the power of the divine Tine formation grew weaker and weaker, their attacks also caused the divine Tine formation to tremble violently. It was as if it could break at any time. The 7 experts all had a strong desire to escape. They were attacking the divine Tine formation tirelessly. It's useless. Just give up. Even if you break the divine Yin formation, you will still die without a doubt. Wu Ming sneered. He had great confidence in Supreme Nine Yin. It was almost impossible for these people to break through the divine Tine formation in the God-sealing domain with their strength alone. However, as the power of the divine Yin formation weakened, Wu Ming's heart began to sink. What he didn't know at all was that Supreme Nine Yin, who was the core of the formation, had already been completely annihilated, and the Godhead and Great Yin Blood God flags were being refined by Ling Xiao. Although the Tine divine formation was still very strong without anyone controlling it, it was no longer indestructible and had flaws. Just like this, everyone madly bombarded the Great Yin Blood God flag for close to a month. The power of the divine Tine formation had been weakened to the extreme. Everyone's eyes were filled with excitement and excitement. Break it! Chu Jian roared. He threw a punch across the sky and activated the colored glaze immortal body around him. He exploded with a powerful punch and directly hit the last barrier of the divine Yin formation. Kacha! The black divine light exploded, and the divine Tine formation was completely shattered. Everyone reappeared in the Nine Yin Palace. However, at this moment, a black light shrouded Ling Xiao and an incomparably powerful aura was faintly emitted. Everyone could see that the person was Ling Xiao. Wu Ming, open the door of the Nine Yin Palace and we can spare your life. Otherwise, I'll make you wish you were dead. Chuan Luanhong and the others surrounded Wu Ming and Supreme Vajra. Their eyes were filled with blazing killing intent. In order to break the Tine divine formation, Chu Jian and the other sword masters were almost exhausted. Furthermore, they had to guard against Nameless and Vajra supremacy. If it weren't for their strong desire to escape, they would have fainted here. However, although the divine Yin formation was broken, the Nine Yin Palace was still closed. The 7 experts surrounded Wu Ming and Supreme Vajra and forced them to open the door of the Nine Yin Palace. Don't even think about it. Haha. So what if you broke through the divine Yin formation? When Great-Grandpa wakes up, all of you will die. Wu Ming laughed loudly. His eyes were filled with incomparable coldness. Catch them. Murderous intent flashed across Chu Jian's eyes as he pounced towards Wu Ming. You are courting death. Supreme Vajra, let's attack together and kill them. Wu Ming's eyes were incomparably cold. He didn't dodge and threw a punch at Chu Jian. Although Nameless looked thin and weak, when he punched out, wind and thunder filled the sky. It was as if there were black thunderbolts exploding on Nameless' fist, colliding head-on with Chu Jian's. Boom! Nameless' body trembled, and a resplendent bolt of lightning burst out from his body. However, Chu Jian was actually sent flying dozens of feet by his punch. What? Chu Jian's eyes were filled with disbelief. In order to break through the divine Yin formation, he had used up a lot of his physical strength. However, at this moment, he was using the colored glaze immortal body. It was not something that ordinary people could withstand. Wu Ming's physical body was not much weaker than his. Furthermore, he was controlling a thunderbolt that could destroy everything. Don't think that your physical bodies are strong. The 9 divine body of my 9 tribe can control the 9 divine thunder with unparalleled power. Since you are courting death, even without great-grandpa, I can still kill all of you. Wu Ming's expression was ferocious, and his eyes were filled with cold, murderous intent. He didn't make a move previously because he was wary of their identities. After all, they were the descendants of the 10 Hall Kings. Perhaps there was a backup plan left behind by the 10 Hall Kings in their primordial spirits. If he forced them into a corner, they might even die together. However, at this moment, the 7 people in front of him wanted to capture Wu Ming and threaten him to open the door of the 9 palace. He was naturally unwilling. Hee princes, please come and have a taste of my Vajra divine fist. Supreme Vajra, who looked very simple and honest, revealed a trace of cold murderous intent in his eyes. He threw out a punch. The fist's momentum was vast and powerful. The terrifying physical strength made the punch extremely fast. It broke through the blockade of Zhuanluanhong and Bianyun and hit their chests directly. Crack! Zhuanluanhong and Bianyun's chests caved in, and they spat out a mouthful of blood. Their eyes were filled with horror. Chapter 929. Kill. I'll hold John Doe back. You guys kill Vajra Sovereign. Today either they die or we die. Chu Jian's eyes also revealed a trace of ferocity as he took the lead to pounce on John Doe. Time passed by. Chu Jian was burning with anxiety. Ling Xiao could wake up at any time. When 9 Supreme woke up, they would be dead for sure. Therefore, they had to capture John Doe and Vajra Sovereign and open the 9 Divine Palace to escape. Alright. The other 6 people also revealed a trace of determination in their eyes as they charged towards Vajra Sovereign at the same time. You're courting death. John Doe was furious. He wanted to go and support Vajra Sovereign, but he was firmly held back by Chu Jian. Although Chu Jian's physical body was weakened, the indestructible glass body was still extremely powerful. He did not hesitate to be injured by John Doe to hold John Doe back, so that John Doe would not have a chance to support Vajra Sovereign. Kill him. Chuan Luanhong, Chu Qianqian, Song Yu, Du Tianhe, Duan Chongkong, and Bianyun also knew that the situation was critical. At this moment, they put down their grudges and began to work together. Rumble. The void trembled, and so did the entire 9 Divine Palace. Behind the 6 of them, the furious Vajra suppressed the heavens and the earth. A huge crimson dragon soared into the sky. Sword light surged and turned into a river of blood. The galaxy trembled, and countless stars swayed. Primordial ferocious beasts roared in all directions. They displayed the most terrifying physical strength, turning into numerous powerful and unparalleled avatars. At the same time, they attacked the Vajra Sovereign. Kill! 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 Vajra Supremacy had also gone completely mad. Golden light shone from his body, and his skin exuded a terrifying and unparalleled power. He was like a peerless god of war as he unleashed the unparalleled Vajra divine fist toward the 6 of them. Rumble. 7 figures rapidly collided in the void. Chuan Luanhong and the other 5 people were all hit by the Vajra divine fist, coughing up blood as they retreated. Vajra Sovereign was also very miserable. He fought until he went crazy, and his body was covered in blood. In the end, Vajra Supremacy's body was almost shattered by the 6 of them. However, Vajra Supremacy was also incomparably terrifying. Do Tianhe, Duan Chongkong, and Bianyun were actually smashed into pieces by him. If their primordial spirits had not escaped quickly, they would have been completely shattered by the Vajra Sovereign. However, in the end, Vajra Supremacy's physical body was shattered by Chu Qianqian, and Song Yu's sword pierced through his glabella. His soul was completely scattered. A 9th-level Supreme Stage expert had died in battle. Nameless, Vajra Sovereign is already dead. If you don't want to die, hurry up and open the door of the 9 Divine Palace. Murderous intent filled Chu Jian's eyes as he surrounded Wu Ming with Chuan Luanhong, Chu Qianqian, and Song Yu. Ha ha ha. You want to kill me? I want all of you to be buried with King Kong. Wu Ming let out a wild laugh as a terrifying murderous aura emanated from his body. His body instantly expanded to a height of 10 feet. Black light rose from his body and streaks of cold lightning energy filled the air. The aura around him had actually increased by 10 times at this moment. You actually burned the Ninein bloodline. Chu Jian's eyes revealed a look of disbelief as he exclaimed. The Ninein divine body of the Ninein tribe was extremely terrifying, and could control the Ninein divine thunder. Although Wu Ming burned the Ninein bloodline, his physical body could erupt with incomparably terrifying power. However, after the battle, the Ninein bloodline would completely disappear, and he would suffer a great backlash. In order to kill them, Wu Ming did not hesitate to burn the Ninein bloodline. At this moment, Chu Jian felt that Wu Ming was even more terrifying than Ling Xiao. I'll kill all of you. Great-grandfather will naturally reconstruct the Ninein bloodline for me. All of you go to hell. Wu Ming let out a wild roar. His voice was like the roar of an Archean ferocious beast, causing everyone's ears to ring. Wu Ming threw a punch across the sky. The fist print contained monstrous lightning as it blasted towards Chuan Luanhong's head. This punch was unavoidable and extremely terrifying. Chuan Luanhong roared and displayed the strongest power of the Vajra body indestructible divine skill. The muscles all over his body swelled as though they were cast in gold. He threw out both his fists. Gotcha! Chuan Luanhong's arms exploded in an instant. Following that, his body, limbs, and head turned into a mist of blood at the same time. Chuan Luanhong's primordial spirit screamed, and teleported away to hide at the side. The first one. Wu Ming's eyes were filled with cruelty. His gaze fell on Song Yu as he threw out another punch. In the Ninein Divine Palace, there was simply no way to avoid it. Song Yu came over with a sword in hand. His body was filled with blood and qi, but he was also blasted apart by Wu Ming's punch, leaving only a primordial spirit that fled in panic. The second one. Wu Ming sneered and threw another punch at Chu Jian. Rumble. The fist print was horrifying and the Ninein divine thunder filled the air. Heaven and earth trembled as though an immemorial divine mountain was pressing down. Chu Jian's face changed drastically. He knew that he would definitely not be able to block this punch. He was most likely going to be blasted apart like Chuan Luanhong and the rest. However, he was unwilling to accept this. The colored glaze immortal body. He had spent countless resources and treasures to condense such a supreme treasure body. As long as the colored glaze immortal body was completed, he would have the strength to contend for the world. How could it be destroyed here? Chu Jian's eyes revealed a trace of ferocity. He suddenly grabbed Chu Qianqian and threw her at Wu Ming. What? Chu Qianqian was completely stunned. She did not expect Chu Jian to be so ruthless in order to survive. He did not hesitate to throw her out to block this punch. Chu Qianqian's eyes revealed a trace of a miserable smile. She could feel the terror of this punch. Perhaps her primordial spirit would be completely blasted apart by this punch. Was she going to die just like that? Chu Qianqian's heart was filled with despair. Buzz. At this moment, a dazzling golden light came across the sky. It contained vast and unparalleled power, and instantly blocked in front of Chu Qianqian. It was a sparkling and translucent finger that was surrounded by golden clouds. It was dazzling and flawless. However, it was like a heavenly pillar that blocked Wu Ming's punch and prevented the fist print from moving forward. Chu Qianqian's body trembled, and she suddenly turned her head. Behind her, Ling Zhao's white robe was whiter than snow. His white hair fluttered in the wind. His body was slender and powerful. His face was calm and his eyes were extremely bright. His body exuded a vast and powerful aura. He looked like an extraordinary deity. Get lost. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.